for just personal care through the day.
Nice.
And being as independent as they can.
That all sounds terrific indeed. Well, Mrs. Simotas, once again, congratulations on being Teacher of the Year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete, brought to you by Arby's.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Bojangles pregame show. Well, folks, throughout the course of the FNR season, we will feature an array of Arby's Scholar Athlete winners on this show. These Scholar Athlete winners are eligible to receive a $5,000 scholarship. This afternoon, we're sitting down with the Arby's Scholar Athlete winner from Brevard High School, Miss Rafa DeBow. Rafa, nice to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and congratulations on the win as well.
Thank you.
So, Rafa, let's talk. I gather you are an academic sensation. You are somebody who has a sky-high GPA, and you're also a scholar ×2. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
So being a scholar means you have to have like a GPA of 3.7 and above, and you take classes that are very like specific and that you have to have good grades on. Basically.
And to be clear, you are a Transylvania scholar and an NC scholar. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That is outstanding.
Thank
now, you're
you.
also an athletic superstar. You're somebody who is rocking it up on the basketball court. You're pretty great on the volleyball court as well. How long have you played both of these two sports, and what can you tell me about your accomplishments within these two sports?
Okay, so for volleyball, I've been playing it a lot longer. I've been playing it for 9 years, and last year we won state, which was a really good accomplishment for us because we've never done it before in history. So I was really excited about that.
Congratulations to y'all.
Thank you.
So as it currently stands, what are some of your post-high school plans?
I would like to go to a college for nursing, and I'm also interested in going to UNC Chapel Hill, hopefully.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Now, I gather, Rafa, you're also pretty involved in the community. You have quite the presence as well. What all do you do?
I help with the Special Olympics. I volunteer hours in the concession stands, and we help with the community and like just other volunteer work.
That all sounds excellent. Well,
Yes.
Rafa, once again, you are our Arby's Scholar Athlete winner for this week.
Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck in all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Arby's, we have the meats. We'll be back in just a moment.
Pre-game show rolls on with the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coaches Corner. We turn our attention to Brevard, and first let us say, Coach, always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for hosting us.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate you.
Give us a sense of the preparation this week coming into tonight, where things are with the team on an important game like this.
Well, we had a good week of practice. I mean, the kids, we had to get some things better from last week, coming off a loss. Had a good Monday morning practice for Labor Day, and, each day trying to get a little bit better at little things. We always talk about the little things, and you got to improve on the little things. You're
very pleased with the personnel group you have coming into tonight. What is it that's most impressed you about this group so far, Coach?
They're going to play hard. They're always going to play hard. They're going to play fast. I'm impressed with their energy they bring on Friday night. Last week went down 13-0. They will come back and actually be up in the game for a little while, and that's important that kids can face the adversity and do those type of things. So,
very important night for you with a lot of eyes in Western North Carolina on your team. What do you hope they know about Brevard, about your team, and about your community when the night is done, Coach?
I just told our kids, go out here and show what kind of team you are, and the whole new Channel 13 viewing area is watching you, so go out here and show them what Brevard's all about.
Got Erwin on the other sideline. When you look across at the other sideline with the film you've seen and the familiarity that's there, what are the things you notice about that club?
I told Coach Pruitt earlier this week it's a major improvements. They're a really good football team. They throw the ball well, they run the ball well, they fly around on defense, and they've done a really good job, and they're a formidable opponent tonight, that's for sure.
When you look at what this one comes down to in your mind, give me a key or two that you focused in on with your staff this week.
I think the biggest keys to this one's always up front. Can we win the battle up front, both sides? If we win the battle up front, I think we got a chance to be in the game at the end.
This is a big-time early test for your team. What's been the focal point in your communication with your student-athletes this week?
The biggest thing is, I tell them I schedule these games to help us down the road. You want to play tough games early and see what kind of team you got and see if you can face adversity and get through tough times and how you handle situations in the game, because you're going to have to face those down the road.
Yeah, you're talking about what happens off the field as much as what happens on the field. What can you tell us about the makeup and the character of this particular edition of the Blue Devils?
This group of seniors did a good job all year since January of leading, because they had some goals that they want to get back to at the end of the year, but it's trying to keep them one day at a time, one rep at a time, and one game at a time. That's the biggest thing.
Coach, I'll leave you with this one. As you think about tonight, kind of finish this statement for me. If this goes well, I think we'll be in a good position at the end of the football game. What is that item for you?
Getting pressure on their quarterback.
That's really what it comes down to in your mind. Well, thank you so much for hosting us. We appreciate your time, and we wish you all the best tonight and the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That is the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner. Pregame show rolls on right after this. I think we're going to be clear.
Back on the coach's corner, Rodney Pruitt of Erwin High School, and coach, off to a 1-1 start. Overall, how's your team played so far this year?
I'm really pleased with our effort. I thought we've battled, and that's what you expect from a more veteran group, than last year. But it's another big time test tonight, so we're going to have to bring our A game for sure.
I tell you had a tough one last week. Thought you had the opportunity to win that ball game, but came out of there with some positive things, I guess.
We did. We were good and balanced. We ran the ball extremely well, and we just got to limit some turnovers, some things, some correctable mistakes that you are expected in an early season. But moving forward, we'll clean some things up, and my group, especially after tonight, we're going to be battle tested for sure.
Well, 4-7 a year ago, and you had a freshman quarterback in there get kind of baptism under fire. You feel pretty good about the offensive side this year?
I do. He has good command of the offense, and when you have 5 seniors up front, they can protect him and allow him time to distribute the ball, and we have some playmakers that can get the hands and the ball into their hands, and they can make plays with it.
How about the defensive side of the football? How do you feel about your team right now?
I'm pleased with how we're flying around, 11 hats to the ball. Judah Dayton, our Mike backers, really his leadership is crucial to us. A lot of different guys making plays, and that's what you need. And we'll need it again tonight.
Tough schedule, doesn't get any easier this evening here at Brevard. What are your thoughts on the ball game this evening?
Brevard is a tremendous challenge, probably the most athletic team that we've played, but they're very physical. They can put pressure on you with their front four, and they're balanced on offense. So we're going to have to defend the field from sideline to sideline and, take away the vertical passing game. So it's going to be a big-time challenge.
Feel pretty good about what your team can accomplish this year?
I do. I like this group. They play hard. They soak up everything we instill in them, and, we're just trying to get 1% better each and every night.
Well, Coach, good luck this evening. We always appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll continue our pregame show in just a moment.
From the campus of Brevard High. From the
Now, My 40 Sports presents Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. The Erwin Warriors versus the Brevard Blue Devils.
From the campus of Brevard High School, just about time for football between the Blue Devils and the Warriors. Erwin in town. We welcome you back alongside my broadcast partner, Tom Van Hoy. Jason Patterson, always a pleasure to be with you. And, Tom, we push closer to kickoff here, just about that time. What have you been keeping an eye on in the pregame?
Well, as far as Brevard's concerned, they're a team that is coming off an outstanding season a year ago at 10-3, got to the quarterfinals of the playoffs a year ago. They'd like to advance a little bit farther. And then you've got an Erwin team that was 4-7 a year ago with a young quarterback, and they anticipate having a good season this year.
We focus on quarterbacks. You mentioned a young quarterback. He does have a year's worth of experience under his belt on one side. You look at the other sideline, you got a two-quarterback system, so quarterback play will be critical tonight.
Yeah, a lot of experience coming back on the side for Brevard. A young man a year ago, Caden Engel, had a really good opportunity and stepped in and did well. And then he's also got a backup that can come in and do some different things as well.
Yeah, going to be fun to see what happens at the key skill positions in this one. We're watching the weather, so many other storylines, and it's all coming your way here on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Kickoff is next.
We're good.
Well, their teams have taken the field. Brevard and Erwin ready to roll, and we are set for kickoff from here at Brevard High School. What a night it should be on Friday Night Rivals. Glad you're with us, and we are underway. Between these two teams, a return going to be set up across the 10 to the 20, and pretty good return. Here's the start that the Warriors were hoping for. Finally driven out of bounds up near midfield. Tom, let's dive right in with our keys to this contest. What do you see it coming down to?
Well, for Erwin, they need to handle the pressure. A couple of really good DNs for Brevard, and they've got to eliminate the big plays. They've given up a couple of those. For Brevard, up front battle, both offensive line, defensive line, handle that situation on both sides, and then they've got to be able to tackle in space. Got some really good ball players and guys that can create on the outside as well. So tackle in space as well for Brevard.
After a 44-yard return, Erwin set up on just on their side of the 50-yard line. An initial look at the young QB, now a year older, tries to swing it out near side. That is incomplete, intended for Reynolds. Well, here is the young QB, Caden Engel, who started as a freshman a year ago, now in his sophomore campaign. The talk around the program, Tom, is a breakout season could be on the horizon now that he has a year of experience under his belt.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is so tough as a freshman, particularly a quarterback. Big guy, 6'3", 216 sophomore, and he's off to a solid start here early going in this season. You could tell from the experience 1 year ago.
He's a southpaw. Keep an eye on that left-handed delivery as he tries to work with his wide receivers, but now a 2-year starter. And again, we'll say it, ready for a breakout, but he is the field general of this offense. Going to have some help from Milky Ray. There's a familiar name, one of the great names in Western North Carolina. His first touch of the football, memorable, and Milky Ray into the end zone. Now, there is a flag back at the 43-yard line, so we will see if the initial impact moment of the night for one of our favorites in Western North Carolina, from a moniker standpoint and the way he played on our air a year ago, Milky Ray. But he showed you just what he's capable of, and it looks as if, based upon the celebration on the far sideline from Erwin, this touchdown is going to stand. There is Milky Ray loose for the first time, probably not the last time tonight, with the initial touchdown of the game.
Man, we were talking about playmakers all over the place and get him in space, and in that particular category, he was able to get out on the edge, and then once he got a stride or two, forget it, he was down the sideline for the touchdown.
Our first United Federal Credit Union of the night, belonging to who else but Milky Ray, and the extra point straight up and through, a 7-0 lead, a first touch for the Erwin Warriors that goes as planned for the visitors. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles. Great choices from Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles. Great choices from the Ingles Deli include rotisserie chicken, fresh-made salads, a delicious hot bar, and sub bar. It's dinner and a snap, then off to the game. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings. Just a minute, 22 seconds, all required of Erwin for the Warriors to go out on top. 2 plays, 53 yards. And, of course, the 53 yards covered on the run by Milky Ray. And, Tom, here's a guy who's spent some time at wide receiver. He obviously has been so talented out of the backfield. He is at full strength after dealing with labrum surgery at the end of the year last year. And Milky Ray already serving notice. He is a force to be reckoned with tonight and beyond tonight in Western North Carolina.
Yeah, 5'9", 156, and the senior able to get it out and take it down the sideline for the touchdown. And, you know, coming in averaging 9.6 yards per carry in the first 2 games. That'll help it.
Yeah, ended up with 180 plus in last week's game, and he's well on his way there with this first touch for Erwin. Warriors make use of their initial opportunity, and now you get your first glance at Brevard offensively. Home team high on where things sit based upon the 2-quarterback system they have. Kissinger you're going to see first. He will get plenty of help from Conley tonight. They are quite the 1-2 punch for Brevard, but you see it's number 12 leading them out for this opening series.
Yeah, he's off to a really good start this year as well, and had a solid season a year ago with the 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But yeah, they've got 2 different guys that they can run back there, and you've got to be able to defend against both of those quarterbacks.
Well, Luke Coleman tell us blessed to have a 2-quarterback system in which they complement one another well. He's also blessed to have a number of backs to hand it to. Here's one of them. Braylon Thompson gets the first touch. Braylon Thompson and Nyrell Skinner, in many ways, the same type 1-2 combo out of the backfield.
Yeah, they are, and Thompson's a guy that can give you the big play as well. And you get a look at the starters there as well. And Thompson, keep an eye on him. Also for Henry Ogle out of one of the wide receivers as well. And Eli Griffin is a guy that can make a difference in this game, and a strong unit up front from tackle to tackle as well.
Bojangles starting lineup there for you as you see the surrounding cast members for Brevard. Here is Thompson again. He's got plenty of room. Up across the sticks. That is a first down. Move the chains. And Brevard going to extend this drive just a little bit, looking to answer what was a 53-yard run from Milky Ray to get things started. And now settling into their roles, Thompson, Kissinger, and the like. You know, so much of it comes down to the offensive line play up front. They talk about such good work done by this group a week ago and how they are coming into their own for Brevard. Always been one of the strengths here, the way the game is played in the trenches for a place known for its history of championships. You think about Brevard, you think about the 60s, of course, 60, 62, and 63 championships, and then most recently in 1981. They know what the standard is here at Brevard. Here's the group trying to put the stop on this Brevard offense tonight. The defensive starters for Erwin, brought to you also by Bojangles.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at Davion Ray at one defensive end, outstanding. Mikey Miller as well. You get into the linebacking core, and Judah Dayton leads the way there. He made the tackle just a moment ago, and then they've got some solid guys in the secondary as well. They've got some young out on the edge players. Need to play well out of the back.
Yeah, 40 was an imposing presence there, looking right into your living room. Judah Dayton is the guy who's like the quarterback on defense for this team, an imposing figure, student body president, and his IQ football-wise second to none on that defense. Here's the swarming nature of that looking for much better play out of that secondary group tonight. That really is going to be the key for Erwin, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, talking about some of the young guys there, and hopefully we'll be able to make some plays. And there you see Judah David as well, and he's had an outstanding career as well. And Jason just ran you through what he does off the field as well.
Student body president, tops in GPA when you talk about what he's able to put together off the football field. What a story he is. We'll get into it tonight, also playing with a little extra. So much is on his mind as his family continues to be a focal point for so many here in Western North Carolina. Here's Brevard on the move, keeping it on the ground, and the movement of the chains again for the Blue Devils. And we told you Nyrell Skinner would have his name called time and again. He's now involved for Brevard.
A good drive. I mean, got stunned a little bit early there with a long touchdown run, and come back, keep it on the ground, establish the line of scrimmage.
A little fake from Kissinger. He's under pursuit. Not going to be able to do anything but just kind of rush out of bounds there. Tried to push the load forward enough to make it a positive gain. He does for about a yard, and that is all. First drive of the football game for the Blue Devils of Brevard. Who can forget that championship in '81? We referenced it the 3 times in the 60s. This group came out on top, and they've made it a consistent conference contention. Regardless of the head coach, 20 conference championships And, of course, the guy at the helm right now, Luke Coleman, in his 3rd season. As you see the staff for this Brevard squad to work on 2nd and 9. On the ground. Skinner again. Into Erwin territory and inside the 40. Another first down for Brevard.
Yeah, we saw Braylon Thompson early, and now Nyrell Skinner taking over, and the guys up front opening some huge holes. And you know, you get that kind of yardage on first down, and you're going to move the change again as well. So doing an outstanding job after they got hit early with that long run for a touchdown.
Well, give them something to cheer about here on the Brevard side. Happy to have you with us in Transylvania County tonight. Brevard this week. Erwin each of the next 2 on the road here, at home next time around. And so you'll get a good look at these 2 teams. Blue Devils on the move here. 3rd down and manageable coming. Big play on this drive coming up, Tom.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've been able to keep the ball on the ground and get good yardage. And Brandon Phelan came up from his strong safety position, 6'1", 169, the senior, to make that tackle. 15 tackles coming in through 2 games, number 3 on the team.
Boy, how big is it to have him back? He's a kid you remember missed the last half of the year with mono last year, but having him back in the lineup important. They talk about what a tough kid he is. Phelan right in the thick of things there. Trying to dance out of traffic was Thompson. It was not to be. Very minimal gain. And now Brevard with a decision to make on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a nice play right there by Jaden Holder, strong side linebacker, 5'11", 169, a junior. He was able to get in and get a hand there and knock him down.
10th play of this drive coming up for the Blue Devils. Took only 2 plays for Erwin to find the end zone. Brevard on a more sustained drive. What do they draw up here on 3rd? Quarterback rolls. Kessinger himself, all kind of room. He'll tuck it inside, and he's going to take it all the way home. Brevard a little bit different in their approach, but a sustained drive and a memorable run from Benji Kessinger as the Blue Devils on even footing pending the extra point.
I tell you, Jason, that's a really good call, and we'll get a look at it here again. He can throw it out on the flat opposite side. It wasn't there, and then he made that decision to take it, and then he set it up and able to cut right there and take it in for the touchdown.
A United Federal Credit Union touchdown. All our touchdowns tonight sponsored by United Federal Credit Union. It will not be a dead even score as they try for the 2-point conversion turned aside, but both teams touch it once. Both teams find the end zone early. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles. Great choices from the Ingles Deli include rotisserie chicken, fresh-made salads, a delicious hot bar, and sub bar. It's dinner and a snap, then off to the game. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings. A tale of two drives from Brevard. Just 22 seconds needed for Erwin to find the end zone on a 53-yard run from Milky Ray. And 10 plays, 80 yards later, Kessinger scampers for 33 of his own, and Brevard has a sustained drive that ends in 6. 1 point separating these two as the Blue Devils tried for the 2-point conversion, and the return is up across the 30 to the 32-yard line for this Erwin team. Well, no drive needed last time for Erwin. Milky Ray, who, as we said last year many times, is out of this world, right, Tom? You got to go there.
You got to get it out of the way.
Is certainly going to be a factor tonight. But who else do you watch on the Erwin side of the ball?
Well, I'll tell you, we talked about the quarterback, obviously, and Ray, but Michael Petty, he just returned that opening kickoff. He's a wide receiver, and also some Lawson Reynolds as well. And then the 5 seniors up front on the offensive line to provide some protection and some blocking.
Southpaw going to make the connection. Boy, this is a nice toss. You see how well he can zip the football in his second season, talking about Caden Ingle. Finds Lawson Reynolds. That's a first down. Well, let's show you all the individuals we're talking about. Here is the starting unit for Erwin.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Petty there, and I mean, he's a young man coming off an outstanding season as well, and he's a big-time game breaker as well, and Reynolds, who just got his hands on the football there as well.
Well, who else? Milky Ray gone again. 2 touches of the football, 2 touchdowns for Milky Ray, and Erwin with another quick strike, the latest of the United TDs.
And right up the middle, we talked about the big guys up front, Nathan Brown, the center, and then Jordan Ellis, the right guard, and Ray Nunez, Ulysses up front as well to help provide that opportunity for that kind of hole.
53 wasn't enough, Tom. 54 yards on this touchdown run from Milky Ray. 2 touchdowns for the standout back of Erwin, and the Warriors remain out front. Extra point true. It is a 14-6 lead for the Crew, having made the trip over from Erwin High School. Strong start for the Warriors. And you can thank none other than the back, number 3, Milky Ray, with a couple of early scores on the road. Well, we know one individual that is going to factor in nicely in terms of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Milky Ray of Erwin has touched it twice for 100-plus yards already, 107 to be specific. A couple of touchdowns and a couple of carries. Not a bad start to your night if you're Milky Ray. You will see a lot more of his exploits, no doubt, as part of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Tom, could you have a better start if you're wearing jersey number 3 for the visitors?
Well, I'll tell you what, in that offensive line providing that opportunity, and he broke a tackle again like he did for the first touchdown.
Here comes the Brevard return. Across the 25, a little bit of change of pace here. Griffin going to show his wheels up near midfield. There is Eli Griffin. He's the guy we talked about as the playmaker offensively for Brevard. And he shows his strength in the return game, sets his team up near midfield on this return.
Yeah, and watch how he does this. I mean, very patient. He's supposed to go to the right where the blocking is, and a nice read there, and then he reverses out. And look at the block out on the edge there. You don't want to hold when you're in that particular position. Just get in the way a little bit and just set up beautifully, and then reversed it out of there with a big gain, and back come the Blue Devils.
He was the individual that Coach Pruitt and his staff were focusing on this week. They said it is clear on film that he can stretch the field and beat you in so many ways. See how well Brevard does at getting him into the mix across the course of this one. Right now calling Thompson's number again, and he is on into Erwin territory. Braylon Thompson, who got the early touches for Brevard, with the biggest of his carries tonight.
Yeah, Thompson was in first, and then Nyrell Skinner. And again, he sets that up. He had both hands over the football. You get it to the outside in case you hit on the sideline there, and a little stutter step. But, you know, nice comeback here on the ground, able to pick up good yardage there, and a nice response by the Blue Devils to what Erwin's been able to do on just a couple of possessions here in the first half.
Blue Devils cover college football in the state of North Carolina. They're at least mindful of it when you look at that Blue Devil insignia as well as the colors that are there on their side. And they play the fight song that sounds like the Wake Forest Demon Deacons when they score. So keep an eye on those two things. A good bit of North Carolina college action gets a nod from this Blue Devils team here in Brevard tonight. They're going to be backed up on this penalty before the drive can continue inside the 30-yard line. But the Blue Devils went on a 10-play, 80-yard drive the last time around to answer Erwin. Let's see what they have in the back pocket. So you get a look at the staff under the direction of Coach Luke Coleman. Again, we mentioned it in his third season here in Brevard. From behind the sticks. Ball popped right back, it looked like, into the hands of the quarterback. And by the time he gathers it up.
Yeah, Cody Luther was right on top of him. 6'3", 294, the senior nose guard.
Read my mind, Tom. By the time he gathered it up, he met number 68. And will no doubt do so across the course of this one. It's been Kessinger at the quarterback position thus far for Brevard. Here's another look.
Yeah, and a nice job just to get it. Almost went to bended knee, and it starts up front with Luther, the big guy at the nose guard position.
Shuffled into the hands of Kittrell. And he rushes it to the far side. Going to be nothing really there. Third down still coming from behind the sticks. Among those congratulating one another is Lawson Reynolds. You say, wait a minute, I saw him on offense. Yep, he's one of the Iron Men on this Erwin defense.
Yeah, there are many games we do up in North Carolina where there are a lot of guys that go both ways. Not necessarily so much here tonight, but Reynolds, the free safety at 6 feet, 163, and a junior, comes in with 7 tackles.
That's a Ray wearing 25, not Milky Ray, but it's okay. It's his brother, Davon Ray, who is on the defensive side of the football. So familiar name with what's already happened tonight. This is third and forever. Underneath it goes to Thompson, and Thompson tries to find some space between the hashes. He gets inside the 25, but is still going to be well shy of first down yardage. So this is decision time on fourth down for Brevard.
I'll tell you, well set up. Look at that. Let them come, set up the screen. You got your linemen downfield blocking for you, and get a good gain.
Those tackles in the secondary, one thing going to be key for Erwin tonight. What's in the mind of Coach Luke Coleman? We're about to find out on fourth down. Going to send his kicking unit out. This will be a 40-yard try. Connor Finnessy out there to put a right foot into it. He's got the distance, but it is no good. The Ingles field goal challenge was in effect, but he ends up just wide on this attempt. And Brevard will come away without points despite driving into Erwin territory. So opting to go with the field goal try, it was not to be, and things settle in at the 4-minute mark with a couple of Erwin scores already on the board.
And what a beautiful spectacle and
wow.
We are here tonight at Brevard. You and I have been up here a couple times doing some college games as well as the high school games as well. And you see an enthusiastic crowd here tonight for both sides.
Well, it's a beautiful part of the country, that's for sure. We talk about the waterfalls Transylvania County's known for, and those sunsets just as true, as is this football lick. Home team's going to love this. Stepping up and making the play Erwin Young, and he makes his presence known. Let's look at the defensive cast surrounding him as he's the headliner in this moment for the Bojangles the Bojangles Brevard defense. You'll see that pop up here momentarily. Obviously, Brevard getting the job done there very nicely, Tom.
Yeah, they were able to make a great tackle out there, but that play was set up beautifully and rolled one way and went back against the grain to the short side of the field.
This is set down underneath. That's going to be some room, and weaving his way through a little bit of traffic up near the Brevard logo at the 44-yard line. A little bit of extra on the end of this when all was said and done. But looks like they're going to be able to separate them after a Warriors first down. And just above that Brevard logo, here is Erwin moving again with a fresh set of downs.
There's so many guys. Petty, if he gets that ball in the open field, he can do some damage like Ray has already done to this ball game.
No doubt about it. So many different individuals that Erwin can utilize. They send Milky Ray in motion here. And the toss goes up top into some open real estate. Caden Ingle was throwing to a spot there, but his toss is incomplete. It's going to be second down.
Yeah, plenty of time to throw the football. Brought him out of the backfield, tried to get him down the sideline on that little wheel route there, and nicely done defensively. And I tell you, Brevard, they've been hit with a couple of stunners here early on with the long running touchdowns. And, you know, if they can just get settled in here a little bit, and they've been able to put football on the offensive side as well.
One of the points of emphasis for Caden Ingle was to get the ball out quickly with how much this defense is capable of swarming, and certainly the defensive ends, the pressure they can provide. He does so here, snaps it out there, and that's good for 7 or 8. We'll see where they spot him out of bounds. Yeah, Tom, we haven't really had a chance to zero in on it because of how Milky Ray has split the middle a couple of times. But what Brevard has in Brown at the defensive end position, Owens at the other, and Weaver, who is also an all-conference performer on the defensive line, they can really pinch down from the ends of that defense and create havoc for opposing QBs.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the keys to the game, to be able to handle that kind of pressure. And so far, he has been able to do that when he's throwing the football. He's had time, a little bit of movement there.
Flags fly. You saw Rodney Pruitt pacing the sideline for Erwin. He has to be pleased with the way things have gone so far. But he was the individual who said, we got to be concerned about what Brevard can do up front and the pressure they can get. And you heard it in our pregame interview with that man. Coach Luke Coleman said, it's all going to come down to whether or not we can get pressure on the QB. So that is the game within the game in many ways tonight. This flag going to back Erwin up to the 44-yard line. And here comes third down and about 8. Need to work on the other side of the field to the Brevard 47 to move the chains. Caden Ingle, southpaw, sophomore QB. Coming into his own, asked to throw here. He will zip one, and it is caught. That's a first down inside the 40. There's Michael Petty making the reception. Actually, check that. That's Hunter Cromer making the catch there. Cromer, one of the other talented receivers in this stable.
Yeah, he's another guy that they like, a 3-year player for him. 5'11", 143, a senior. And tell you, that's a nice job to drop down and kind of sidearm that throw. And again, tonight so far anyway, Caden Ingle's had time to throw the football.
Smart kid they talk about in terms of Cromer. His dad's on the staff. Here's Milky Ray. You know how explosive he can be. That's a first down on one touch this time. Milky Ray moving the chains. Already a couple of touchdowns if you're just joining us. Already up over 100 yards for number 3 in red. Erwin's Milky Ray has stolen the show thus far. You know, it's a battle between he and the impressive sunset here in Brevard as to what have been the two headlines to this point. A beautiful night in Western North Carolina, and we're so happy that you've chosen to join us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Screenplay set up, and a little bit of room to the 20 is about all. Going to set up a second down and a handful here. 2 minutes and change remaining first quarter. It is a first quarter that has belonged in many ways to Erwin, though Brevard has done some positive things. Ingle putting together really, Tom, the first drive of the night after Ray with the 2 explosive runs made sure it wasn't required on the first couple of touches.
Yeah, we've seen him be able to throw the football successfully, and you know, with that run game. But I mean, Brevard just needs to get a stop here if they can. But I've been impressed with the play calling, Jason, to a certain extent here from a passing standpoint, they've gone over the middle, able to connect there. Cromer, there's also been Petty involved, and, as well as Reynolds. So they've got a number of guys they can get involved out of different variations offensively.
Yeah, Cromer had the big third down catch. We mentioned it. They talk about his football IQ. His dad obviously on the staff. He's a 3-year starter at the wideout position for this group, and he and Caden Engel kept the drive alive earlier. What will the southpaw do here? Zips one out. That's going to be caught. There's Lawson Reynolds. You saw him defensively a few moments ago. Reynolds, who's a guy who, this is the way they termed it, as he picks up the first down here, does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they do. And look, I mean, they run off Petty deep and then cut back underneath and trailing from behind. Nice job to hold on to the football and let it clear, and then able to get him on the crossing pad at the sideline.
A little deeper into the First Bank red zone. First Bank, 21 locations across western North Carolina and the upstate. 16 of them in western North Carolina alone to serve you. First Bank red zone opportunity for the left-hander. And he swings a pass out. Touchdown, Erwin. Well, 2 on the ground for him. Why not 1 through the air? He tosses it to Milky Ray out of the backfield. And he has been everywhere for Erwin tonight. A 3rd United Federal Credit Union touchdown from Milky Ray.
I'll tell you what, another outstanding throw by the left-hander. Brought him out of the backfield. We saw him go deep earlier and couldn't get it to him then. And what they've been able to do is utilize some really different looks throwing the football, and that was a successful touchdown.
Shining bright under the lights on this night. Milky Ray with a receiving touchdown. And Erwin has posted 21 on the board. Here's the southpaw's toss. Caden Engel to Milky Ray, and the lead grows for the Warriors. Boy, Tom, you think about the way Erwin worked their way off the bus. You know, this is a tough stretch for Erwin. Back-to-back road games that provide a tremendous early season challenge. And we talked to Rodney Pruitt. He said, you know, this is the first of 2 3-game stretches that are going to make or break our season. They got one in the conference a little later on, which we'll discuss as the day goes along. But they're in the midst of a big early season stretch that he called a major test. He said the buzzword this week was discipline. We're seeing it from his team so far.
They beat Daniel Boone 56-0. I was hoping that'd be a shootout. And then at Mountain Heritage, 32-27. That's a game that Coach Pruitt talked to me and you before the ball game about. Man, they just made some mistakes in that game. They felt like they could have won that game.
Fumbled on the 3-yard line at one point as one of the key moments that the tide turned a bit against a Mountain Heritage team many believe will compete for a state championship. And he said, we had the Heritage team on the ropes, felt like we were in a position to win that football game, but our guys bounced back. They were riding high into practice this week as a result of being in the thick of that game. And we talked about how with a little bit of discipline and a few things tightened up, we're in a position to do some things early. Well, he told us we had their attention in practice. The numbers in the early stages of this one bear that out.
And they do. And you know, you think about last year, 4-7, and then took their lumps along the way. At one point, lost 6 out of 7, won the final 2 games to get to the playoffs before they lost to West Henderson.
A little bit of a reverse action for Brevard, and boy, is it going to pay dividends. Into Erwin territory, as the last to handle it is Eli Griffin. Nice little trickery from Brevard to move the chains.
Tell you what, that's a good tackle, though, by the free safety Christian Conley. He had to come over, if not. And Griffin, I mean, every time he gets his hands on the ball, like Milky Ray, you think he has a chance to go the distance. And here you go. We saw this a little bit different variation there, but on the pitch earlier, and that time was highly successful as he got around the corner. Got it blocked on the edge. Good job by the guys up front as well, and your wide receivers not to hold.
Toss. Skinner across the 45, inside it down to the 43-yard line. And the closing seconds working their way off of that first quarter game clock. What a first quarter. 100-plus yard performance on the ground and a reception through the skies for Milky Ray. And the 3 touchdowns, all 3 with his fingerprints all over them, have the Erwin Warriors out front 21-6 after 1. Rodney Pruitt and company on the road at Brevard, riding the coattails of Milky Ray, who's had a first quarter that makes up a ball game for most people. he has his team well out front after one period of play. Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS Friday Night Football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Head to Bojangles. Order your tailgate box today. It's not a tailgate without Bojangles, proud sponsors of WLOS Friday Night Football. It's bow time. Well, it's been all about the atmosphere tonight. A beautiful sunset just behind us. And the Milky Way, Milky Ray, who has been the headliner in this one so far. 3 touches of the football, 117 yards on the ground. He has 1 reception for a 13-yard touchdown. He's involved in all 3 of the touchdowns for Erwin tonight. Brevard trying to answer that as we go to work in the second quarter. And Tom, just to recap for fans who weren't with us, both teams scored on their opening possession. It was a 10-yard sustained drive for Brevard, but they came away without points the last time on a missed field goal. With the way Erwin is scoring, this becomes a very important early second period drive for the home team.
Oh, it is, and they have been able to score in a hurry here tonight. And Brevard had the one long drive of 4.5 minutes, and they had to settle for a field goal on another possession.
And didn't get that field goal, of course.
Yep, 40 yards.
As they have just the 6 points on the board. It's going to be carried inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. It's been Benji Kessinger at the quarterback position thus far. You know, at some point, Christian Conley, the other of the 2 quarterback system, no doubt going to make an appearance on the Brevard side of things.
Hey, Jason, I had Conley making a tackle a minute ago. He will on the other side.
Yes, exactly.
But I wanted to circle back here because Lawson Reynolds made an outstanding tackle on Griffin. And Conley's a guy that can play on both sides of the football.
You got that right. He's another of those Iron Men, and we'll see a number of them on both sides tonight. He's going to stay on the ground, going to stay with Skinner, and Skinner works his way toward the pylon. He is in for the touchdown. Brevard with an early second quarter answer. Nyrell Skinner reminding everybody there is more than one back in this football game tonight. He has Brevard's rushing TD to pull a little closer. A United Federal Credit Union touchdown for Nyrell Skinner.
I'll tell you what, and that was a nice block out on the edge, and a nice cut off of that block by Austin Gindris on the edge. Nicely done.
And there's that familiar tune on the United touchdown, along with those familiar colors as the Blue Devils are in the end zone. This time opting to kick the extra point makes it 21-13 just a couple of minutes in to this second quarter.
Yeah, he gets out on the edge there, and Rogers able to get there and get that block and cut off it and take it in.
And the drive. .562 and rivals, Carolina Furniture Concepts. Over $5 million of furniture in stock, ready to deliver to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms today or go online at carolinafurnitureconcepts.com. Brevard back within a score after the 27-yard run by Skinner. It capped a 5-play, 62-yard drive, 2 minutes, 24 seconds, wrapped around the end of the first period and the start of the second quarter for Brevard.
I tell you what, this fun one. We're just 10:41 into the second quarter and already with 34 points.
It's going to work its way into the end zone for a touchback. And Erwin out with it for their first second quarter possession. Erwin scoring all 3 times. 2 rushes for Milky Ray, 1 toss to Milky Ray. And if you're wondering how he's been so far at the quarterback position, sophomore Caden Engel, 8 of 10 for 88 yards and the touchdown toss. Pretty good first quarter for the QB.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, both the teams are showing some offensive prowess here, and a nice response by Brevard because they've been hit a couple of times on very big plays, but got us a ball game.
Now, more to talk about in regards to number 3. Milky Ray gone again. 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. This, of course, his longest. 80 yards on the first play of this second quarter drive for Erwin.
Looked like it had it bottled up a little bit in there, but boy, once again, if he gets out and gets his stride, forget it. You see it right there, and he just shoots out of there, and he'll take it the distance. 80 yards, man, what an outstanding performance here so far. And we're just a couple minutes into the second quarter.
Well, with his average, he's only going to need 1 more carry to cross over 200 here in the early stages of the second quarter. That gives him 197, and Milky Ray responsible in some way for all 4 Erwin touchdowns. The extra point good. It is 28-13 Warriors. You'll want to stick around for the Asheville Chevy show at the half. We may call it the Milky Ray show this go round. Asheville Chevy going to feature highlights, stats. You'll learn more about both of these teams and the high schools that they represent, but you're going to see all the activities of number 3 in red wearing that visiting white jersey tonight. Here is Milky Ray once more. This is longest run of the night. One more glance at the 80-yard carry.
Yeah, just took it up inside. A couple players collided there. That a backside tackle unable to bring him down, and once he got past, as the penetration was there, everybody coming up to try to make that play, and once he got past, you know what's going to happen. He's going to outrun everybody, and he did again. All
right, we can now check his 40 time because we know one play 80 yards for Milky Ray, and it took him 13 seconds to get there. So Milky Ray with another rushing touchdown for the Erwin Warriors.
So we've had drives, what, of 22, 30, and 13 seconds.
Yeah, and he's got touchdown runs of 53, 54, and now 80 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
Also had that receiving touchdowns of 13 yards from his quarterback, Caden Engel. A little bit of trouble gathering this up initially, and the field position is going to be tough for Brevard. They'll start this drive inside the 10 near the 5-yard line. They're going to spot this at the 6.
And mishandled that a bit. I mean, they have some guys that can break it big, as do the Erwin Warriors, but not this time unable to handle it. Now back against the wall there. They need a good drive here to take some time off the clock and keep it away from the Warriors.
I'm going to underscore that, Tom, and just kind of repeat it because it's well worth it. Your drives are 22 seconds, 30 seconds, and 13 seconds when you hand the ball to Milky Ray. The other drive that ended in the 13-yard touchdown toss his direction, that one, of course, took just under 3 minutes for Erwin. So it really has been a night of impressive performances for the Warriors back and the Warriors quarterback thus far. Brevard on the ground, maybe a yard. That's all from scrimmage here. Well, you have to, if you're Brevard, handle punch and counter punch right now from the combo of Engel and Ray.
Yeah, I mean, we're 2 minutes into the second quarter, Jason. It's 28-13. Don't go away. We have our own personal shootout here, but this does become a big drive. And we have seen Brevard be able to move the football. 10 plays, 80 yards when they ended up with a 33-yard run by Kissinger for the touchdown. Or they need one right here.
Quarterback number 2 in there now. We told you he was coming. Christian Conley getting his opportunity. He goes to Thompson as well, and Thompson may have one of the longer carries of the night. He may have one of the touchdowns of the night. Thompson sending notice that Brevard has the backs in the stable that can get the job done as well. How about this from Braylon Thompson as he takes that 80-yard rush from Ray a moment ago, and he has a United touchdown that raises the bar further. 92 yards later, Braylon Thompson finds the end zone for Brevard.
Oh my goodness, what a night here in Brevard. Call your friends. We're just getting going here. 47 points already.
An 80-yard touchdown run, a 92-yard contribution as Thompson is the key performer on this. And Brevard gets it back to one score at 28-20. Take a look at Braylon Thompson, who is not to be denied.
Boy, did a great job there, Jason, on the sideline.
Well, they have plenty to smile about here at Brevard, and the home team's smiling right now. Our Caroline Albee orthodontic smile cam revealing just how much excitement was created on the 92-yard run by Thompson. But, Tom, regardless of what colors you're wearing tonight, and, of course, those are the best ones, red, white, and blue, right?
There you go, man.
Celebration of this amazing land in which we live. But whether you're wearing that Warriors red or whether you're wearing that Blue Devil blue, there have been enough moments to your liking in this one, and a lot of football remains.
You want highlights, you want big plays, you come to the right place. We're going to have about 1,000 yards in total offense by the time it's over tonight.
They are keeping our statistician, Tim Amos, very busy in this first half, and he's keeping up with all of it for you, including the two-play, 92-yard drive, 59 seconds for Brevard that last time around. This is into the end zone. It is a touchback. 7 carries, 130 yards, and 1 touchdown. The numbers so far for the Brevard headliner, Braylon Thompson. He's chasing Milky Ray, Tom. and he's been pretty impressive for Brevard.
He's also chasing Nyrell Skinner as well. I mean, we've seen 3 really good running backs here tonight.
92 yards on one clip. That'll put you right there in the conversation. Warriors keep it on the ground at the 25-yard line. Still 9.5 minutes in essence left to go in this first half of action. 48 between them on the board. Keep in mind everything that has happened from a point standpoint for Erwin has happened with Milky Ray involved. You know, Brevard trying to locate him on each play. That is in and out of the hands of Ingles' intended target, Lawson Reynolds.
I tell you, Ingle has looked sharp tonight. Again, if folks just joined us, started as a freshman, took some lumps, got that baptism under fire last year, 6'3", 216. I tell you, he has a nice soft touch and has been able to move it around to various receivers out of different formations.
Easy to see why they talk about a breakout performance from him. As Milky Ray there to work with, who's already a 200-yard back tonight. Rolls that direction, throws back across his body. This is picked and then dropped. Going to be interesting to see if they say the interception was made and the fumble follows. Whatever the case, it ends up in Erwin's hands, and the Warriors will have the football. Boy, Tom, that looked like it had the potential to be 6 for Brevard.
Good look at it here again under pressure. That's what tries to throw it across the grain. That's just really difficult for a left-hander, but then loses the ball and then able to get back on top of it. Erwin will receive the football.
I think they're going to say that Tristan Thompson-Wynn actually had that and then fumbled it back into the hands of the Erwin Warriors, and he looked destined for the end zone, but couldn't grab the handle and then hang on. Erwin a fresh set of downs as a result at the 20. Boy, you want to tuck that one away in the back of your mind because that's a major bullet dodged by Erwin. Then the Warriors go to work. Down the near sideline is Michael Petty. Another explosive touchdown, another long connection, and for the first time, here's a United TD for somebody besides Milky Ray. Michael Petty with the United TD for the Warriors.
Man, unbelievable. If you take a look at what transpired there, had the interception, looked like it was going to go the other way for a touchdown. It was 28-20 at that point. Then the fumble recovery, the first play out of that, breaks a tackle on the edge. If you give him any kind of advantage, shows his speed, and he's gone down the sideline for another huge play and touchdown.
80-yard touchdown run a moment ago from Milky Ray. 80-yard touchdown toss this time around into the hands of Michael Petty. And not only do the Warriors dodge the potential turnover bullet, one play later, they used number 6 to put up 6. And with the extra point, the 7 more on the board make it 35-20 Warriors. Well, it may not seem like it, but it was just a one-play drive. That's because you remember the interception followed by the fumble reset things at the 20-yard line. So 80 yards later on a single play, the connection from Ingle to Petty extending the Erwin lead to 35-20. Boy, you talk about that 14-point swing right there, Tom. What looked like it could be a defensive touchdown for Brevard turning one play later into a touchdown for Erwin. You know, that may be the moment the game turned. A lot of football left between here and there. We've seen how much can happen in a short period of time, but that was a major turn of events.
Yeah, it was. You're sitting there thinking, okay, you're going to be within a point or two, and just couldn't hang on to the ball, and hustling effort by Erwin to come up with it, and then the first play to get it out of the sideline. I'll tell you, talked about tackling in space, and we have seen that in evidence here tonight. Big plays all the way around and isolate and get the opportunity, and it has been one big play after one big play where the defense at some point needs a stop here for both teams.
Flags come in at the end of this play as Skinner has it in his hands. Much to sort out here at the 8.5-minute mark. Brevard retreating as if this is going to be against the Blue Devils, and it will be, holding against the home team. Milky Ray, a 53-yard touchdown run. Brevard seeing a 7-0 deficit before they ever touched the football. That was on Erwin's opening drive. Kessinger scampered 33 to cap a 10-play drive. Made it a 7-6 game. From there, Erwin has held Brevard at arm's length. A moment ago, the Blue Devils were able to get it back to a one-possession contest, but a near turnover followed by an 80-yard reception from Petty. And it is a 15-point ball game once again. Another flag, so a bit of a herky-jerky start to this drive for Brevard.
Yeah, you don't want to get behind the chains, and that's what's happened. But you do remember the last time that there was the kickoff and got pushed back deep in their own territory, and that led to the 92-yard run for the touchdown. So, I mean, it's really been an interesting game in terms of big plays and a 35-20 game with 8:17 to go in the second quarters.
I see you running out of room on your chart over there.
I know it. I'm
all the scoring that's taking place.
Flip over between me and Tim right here.
Fortunately, Tim's got the computer, and he upgraded to the large memory size, so I think we're in good shape.
We're good.
8:04 to go in a 15-point contest. And Brevard, after the two penalties, going to have first in a country mile. They need the 35-yard line to move the chains now. Toss near side. You've seen him before. They wanted a flag at the end of this in the home stands. It was not to be after Nyrell Skinner's carry. There's Lawson Reynolds. You saw him offensively a bit ago. You know, Tom, Lawson Reynolds, they lost him in the game last week after some flags. And Rodney Pruitt said, when we lost Lawson Reynolds for the rest of the game, that was one of the turning points. That's because he's a dynamic guy in that secondary. He comes up and makes the stop here. He is a key part of the back end of this defense.
Free safety coming over to help make that play. And if you get out on the edge, we've seen both teams be able to turn the corner and go the distance. Good job to come from the middle of the field to make that play.
Talked about his absence as one of the moments that turned the tide in that Mountain Heritage game. Trying to turn the tide with this carry is Skinner one more time. Well, we told you Thompson and Skinner were a pretty good 1-2 punch. At least that's what we were told by the Blue Devils staff. So far, that's ringing true.
I'll tell you, we have seen, and principally on the ground for Brevard in this one. And this becomes, even though it's in the second quarter, this becomes a very big play down by 15. And then you get your defense back out there and trying to get a stop right now, kind of settle back in. I mean, that's why we love what we do, because it's all unscripted. And I'm not sure we would have predicted that we'd be sitting 35-20 about halfway through the second quarter.
Well, did you know we'd have 371 total yards on one side, 284 on the other? Of course, Erwin is the higher of those numbers. That's just first quarter numbers, or first half, I should say, numbers, with 6:49 to play.
I told you we're headed toward 1,000.
Yeah, right there at it as we speak. Here comes a second down and about 7 for Brevard.
You know, and the other part about that is, Jason, is the ability of the offensive line to open it up and provide the chance to get either on the edge or get up inside for big yardage.
Well, these have proven to be two tremendous offensive lines so far, having their will and having their way in this football game. Let's give some love to this group. They try to make a little more space for Thompson here. Johnny Zuniga, the left side anchored by he and Levi Garrett. You heard us right. Ryder Scruggs is the center. Isaac Rice and Chandler Nevin on the right side. That's the group making some room for Brevard. Give those guys up front a little love here, Tom.
And this is a big play. 3rd down and 6 from the own 39-yard line.
And keep in mind, we haven't talked about it yet, but Dylan Galloway, the tight end, headed App State, one of the big performers on this roster. You'll hear from him at times in moments like this. 3 for 3 on 3rd downs. At the quarterback position, Conley trying to find some room to deliver this beyond the sticks. And he does. A connection with who else but Eli Griffin. He's the headliner, and you can move the chains.
I mean, good job there. I mean, there wasn't anything there. Had to step up, and instead of pulling it down, and we can see what he's been able to do, and this offense been able to do from that particular standpoint. But a good decision, pull it down, and then step back and throw it. Well done.
5 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the opening half of action. And just below that trademark B at the center of the field, Brevard on the move. Down a couple of scores. Christian Conley swallowed up as there was a little bit of trouble on the snap initially, and then Jaden Holder gets in there to cover up the QB. 2nd and behind the sticks with 14 to go now.
That's a bad feeling because you're bending over to get it, and you know the cavalry's coming there, and you know Holder as the strong side linebacker, and told that he plays fast, and he had to put a few tackles. The second team coming in through the first 2 ball games.
Line to make the 44 on the Erwin side of the field. Conley. Incomplete pass. Defense stands tall for Erwin. He was trying to work that to Young and couldn't make the connection. Solomon Young, one of the juniors, an intended target there. Four for 4 on 3rd down connections, but rarely have they faced one of this distance. This one a 3rd down and 14. Pressure, and Conley swallowed up. Ball was on the turf, but that's ruled an incomplete pass as he got rid of it. But he got rid of it just as Jaden Holder was bearing down.
Yeah, right-handed, rolling right, trying to get something there, but Holder has been a factor here defensively.
How about the pressure this defense has provided? So much talk about pressure on the quarterback from the Brevard side of things. That's been an early MO for Erwin. And it's going to force the punting unit out onto the field with 4 and change to play in this 2nd period. Going to keep rolling. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Valiant effort.
Great effort, yeah.
To try to keep that inside the 1, but 59 on the punt. And it will come out on the touchback.
Aiden Cantrell almost got there to make a nice play. What a punt. You never know with the oblong ball which way it's going to go.
Henry Ogle, who handles those responsibilities, as well as good work in the secondary. The punter stays out there. Continues to work for Brevard. Well, that was a nice effort. Almost able to keep the body of the football out of the end zone. It was not to be. 35-20 Warriors. Erwin with the football again. Boy, so many 80-yard touchdowns already tonight. You see somebody set up on the 20 and you're ready for a big play. Let's see if Erwin can replicate. Tucking it and carrying it inside. Left hash direction is the quarterback, Caden Engel.
And you know, Jason don't run that play that often, but with the success they've been able to have running the football with others and also throwing the football, well, he becomes a factor there. 10 carries, 92 yards, a touchdown coming in, and a big guy at 6'3", 216. I think that's a play as the season goes on with the success offensively that it's going to be a part of the repertoire.
It's okay. The Jadens have been heavily involved here in this one tonight. I understand. It's a long toss, and it's incomplete. A little bit too much air underneath it as he was trying to find Lawson Reynolds, down the far side. Caden Ingle, remember, started 8 for 10 in this game in terms of passing. That was through the first quarter of action. The Southpaw's been impressive tonight.
Yeah, I have been impressed with him as well. And, you know, he took a lot of those shots last year. He was kind of learning how to play the position on a Friday night, which is really difficult. He's been impressive here tonight.
Well, that was a senior, Zion Brown, one of the captains, providing the pressure there. What a difference maker he was to force it on out of Caden Ingle's hands. Third down for the Warriors. And caught just beyond the sticks, it would seem. Let's see where they mark this. Looks like it's going to be enough. At least an initial glance would indicate that Lawson Reynolds was far enough down the field to move the chains. He is. A fresh set of downs coming with 3 and change to play.
Yeah, that becomes a big play right there. I mean, with 3 minutes to go and counting here.
2:55 and ticking downward. On the interior, boy, running into a brick wall just across the 30-yard line is the ball carrier. Blue Devils make it hurt, but it is a gain of about 3 on first down.
It can be a tough game. Ray goes inside, and he is blasted there at the point.
Hello, Cooper Weaver, who makes his debut, at least of getting his name called here on our air tonight. It's not the last time you will hear from number 28 in this one. There's a look at Zion Brown. Talked about him, one of the captains, one of the difference makers on this defense. Zion Brown, remember, Citizens time, defensive lineman of the year last year, so he's a headliner. This into the secondary. You know that's true also. The guy with the football in his hands, Lawson Reynolds, and he's going to bring the Warriors up near midfield.
Boy, the other staff yards after catch and contact and able to turn it up the sideline, get about 10, 12 more yards there.
2:07 on the clock as timeout is called for in a 35-20 football game, and a first down in effect near midfield for Erwin. Boy, things going according to script for the visitors from Erwin so far tonight, Tom. Brevard talking about how they can keep the deficit where it is as we close in on the half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Brevard team that's coming off the season a year ago, 10-3. They went 6-0 in conference. They're a 2A school, and we'll get in a little bit more about Erwin probably the second half of a 3A school, part of a 3A, 4A, and that when you get into that situation in terms of playoffs and so forth with those different levels anyway. But Erwin was 4-7, and they felt very good with the experience they got last year, and then with Brevard they got to the third round. And you do a lot of North Carolina state championships for Sinclair and Reidsville. It goes through Reidsville in 2A.
They call it Titletown for a reason.
Is that what they okay.
Well, you're right, though. When you have those split conferences, the work you have to do to secure one of those playoff byes, you got to finish in the top 2. Whereas in some of the other conferences, you can be in that 3-4 slot, be in the conversation for playoff supremacy, home games, and the like. That's one thing, Rodney Pruitt said. And, we're always have kind of been trapped into that world for a while, where you don't have the luxury, particularly when you have the likes of Reynolds and Asheville and some of those in the conference that you're dealing with, of trying to put yourself in that playoff positioning. So it can be a challenge. His team embracing the challenge of going on the road here tonight. Almost upended Mountain Heritage, a team expected to compete for the state title last week, and in command against Brevard so far in this one with 1:50 remaining in the opening half. They lead it by 15, due in large part to that man, Ray, limping just a little bit. And why not with all he's done? He's responsible for 4 of the 5 touchdowns tonight for Erwin.
He's not going off. You saw that. I'm good.
3 of those are the rushing variety, 1 receiving. This right through the hands of Lawson Reynolds and incomplete. Clock stops with 91 seconds remaining in the half.
I'll tell you, Ingle looked good in the pocket, and you get one more look at it here. I mean, calm and confident and right there on the money, just went through the hands. You're not going to see that very often.
All right, we've been tracking those total yards between these two teams. Now that we're closing in on the latter stages of this first half, I'm going to let you take your math skills for a spin, Tom. 409 on one side, 291 on the other. Now, I know that 91 and that 9 go together nicely to give us what?
700.
Already in this football game.
Let me tell you, USD 250 out of Southeast Kansas, man, getting it done.
Pride of it. 700 yards of offense at this very moment with a minute and a half in essence remaining in this first half of action.
Yeah, I mean, it's been exciting, and you're going to get in the locker room at half, and on the defensive side, you're going to go, all right, guys, we need to do something here and cut down the big plays, get off the field. It's just been one thing after another, and we'll take you through it here eventually, late in the first half and early the second half. But the quick plays and the big plays for touchdowns, particularly for Erwin here.
Safe assumption we're going to see Milky Ray at least one more time, either through the air or on the ground before this half is over, with all the explosive plays he has put together in this one. Fourth down here. Let's see if number 3 is the number they call. The first thing they're going to call is a timeout. With 1:28 to play, Erwin is going to talk over this fourth down try with a 35-20 lead to take for a spin. Gives us a chance to kind of take a 10,000 feet view here for a moment. What are your impressions of this first half?
Well, I mean, it has been an exciting one. Big plays all over the place, and it started early with Milky ran the second play of the game, going the distance 53 yards, and then Brevard had a nice response, and that was 22 seconds. They took 4.5 minutes to come down and score, and went for 2 and didn't get it, and then right back. I mean, you've responded, and then all of a sudden it's another gigantic play of 54 yards in 2 plays. So very quick, long plays for Erwin to the first half, and Brevard has been able to move the football as well.
You know, Tom, while we've got a moment during this timeout, we talked about Judah Dayton a little bit earlier on the Erwin side of things, and they're playing, and Judah Dayton is playing for so much more than just what happens on the football field right now. We want to send our best wishes. His dad, Craig, battling cancer. It's been a rallying cry for him, and this team rallying around him in so many more ways than just what's happening football-wise. And we want to take a moment here and just say our thoughts, our prayers continue to be with the Dayton family. And certainly Craig Dayton is in the thoughts and minds of everybody, not only in Erwin, but all across Western North Carolina. And Judah Dayton, the conversation was his goal is try to make it to senior day with the battling of cancer. They presented him with a helmet at the sports banquet. Coach Pruitt was telling us, and they said, we want to give you this because it protects our players on the field as they battle, and we know that you're battling, and so many across Western North Carolina aware that he is. And while we have a moment here before we reach the half, we just want to say to Craig Dayton, Judah Dayton and his family, our thoughts, our prayers, like those of so many across Western North Carolina, with him in the battle far greater than the battle on the football field. They go to work with 1 minute 20 seconds left in the half. Brevard. And they work their way across the 45 up near the 50-yard line. These are the closing moments of a first half that Erwin has to be very pleased with to this point. The question is, can they maintain that 15-point lead for 1 minute and change now to carry it into the locker room? 2-minute offensive drill for Brevard. After making the stop on fourth down, they inch into Erwin territory at the 49.
How about that tackle, Judah Dayton in there, 5'11", 214.
There he
senior,
is.
Making a nice play.
There he is. Once again, they wear a sticker on the helmet with the initials CD for his dad, Craig. And the helmet presented to him a reminder of the battle he's in. And so many, as we said, in that Erwin community aware of it, across Western North Carolina aware of it. And Judah Dayton and his family, they remain in the thoughts and prayers of everybody. I know you echo those sentiments, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it puts it all in perspective. We're very fortunate to be able to do what we do, and great to be a part of this.
Yeah, that special relationship with his dad, and what an amazing young man he has been. We talked about him, student body president, the GPA high. He's the quarterback of this defense, and more than that, you see the CD on the helmet. He has been an inspiration to his teammates with the way he and his dad and his family have been an example through what is, we hear a lot of talk about adversity in our day, what is real adversity and what is really important in life. So to the Dayton family, they have to be proud of number 40 in every way. And to Rodney Pruitt and his staff, what a job they've done to rally around that family. And we certainly wish them the best in the days ahead. Brevard to work against that Erwin defense with 49 seconds remaining. Big time pursuit. Out of bounds at the 45, and the clock stops with 42 ticks to go. So Brevard back in the hands of Kessinger, this offense right now. Number 12 has spent some time at the helm. Number 2, Connolly, has spent some time at the helm. They go back to the formula that worked early on the extended drives. And Tom, an important possession for Brevard.
Well, it is. And you backtrack a little bit, and Erwin decided to go for it on 4th down, and they gave the ball really good field position to the 42, so trying to take advantage of that later in the first half.
42 seconds now. Little toss. Here comes Skinner, and he's going to be covered up. There's Lawson Reynolds, one of the two-way players, one of the Iron Men, and he'll trip him up. Going to be short by about 4 yards. 2nd down and 4, 25. Clock still ticking. Well, you can hear the natives at Brevard, a sense of urgency as they call them up to the line. 10 more seconds or so, run off that clock. With 15, here's the snap. This is tossed up, and it is incomplete. On the scene was Reynolds, just in time to disrupt. Boy, number 2's all over the field right now.
I tell you what, he's having a heck of a first half. 6 feet, 163 junior, and he's got the matchup there with Eli Griffin. That's one you're going to listen and watch for tonight. Those two very good players going at it, able to get the angle, leap, and knock it out of bounds.
9.4 with a 15-point game. And a 3rd down coming for Brevard. Here's a look at Lawson Reynolds. He's out there tonight, and he has let the Blue Devils know it. That's underneath. There's Galloway. Talked about him earlier. Haven't really seen him involved tonight, but they were swarming around 80. And Galloway, maybe a yard. 4th down coming.
Tell you, we've seen 2 really good open field tackles. Kadarian Brown, the sophomore.
The size of the all-conference tight end catches your attention. Remember, he's going to be playing at the next level.
And he's got that opportunity and tried to get him out there, but that's a really good tackle. We've got one more timeout, I guess, with 1:8 to go.
Timeout going to give them one shot at it. Well, 4th down, that's of little consequence with 1 second on the clock anyway. But no doubt Dylan Galloway will be a factor in the second half, and you know where he's headed. Going to get the job done for the next stages of his career. All right, Tom, one play. You've seen the playbook to some degree for Brevard. What do you expect here from the Blue Devils?
I think you just throw it up and, you know, hope for the best. And I have liked what they've been doing down the stretch here to try to get it over the middle. I mean, the short passes, and you get that one-on-one coverage. And we have seen tackles missed, tackles broken. But here in this particular drive, a pair of really good open field tackles, one-on-one, have kept it from being a very big play.
Always interesting to see. Do they load up, fire it away, Hail Mary style on the final play of a half, or do you set something up underneath, hope you can block it and get some open space? We'll see what Brevard has opted to do with 1 second remaining in the half. Kessinger now going to sling it over the middle. It is intercepted, but of little consequence. Tripped up after the pick. There is a flag down at around the 37-yard line. We'll see if it has any extension of the half coming with it. The ball picked off by Jackson Davis of the Erwin Warriors to what looks to be the moment to solidify a 35-20 halftime score. But they are sorting out a flag.
And you know, Jason, if that tackle's not made, he may have a chance to take it the distance because you rolled left. That's a really dangerous pass to throw. You'll see it one more time. Wasn't there. He wanted to go deep and then chased, and this is across the grain. And everybody on this side of the field, and they'll say that it was.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to do something over the middle, see if they could create open space. But the interception, you said it, Tom, ends up being just that. Nothing further, though it could have been perhaps more consequential on the Erwin side of things. A little conversation with our officials as the half comes to a close. What an explosive first half of football between these two, as 55 points go up on the board between them, and Erwin carries the lead into the locker room. Thanks in large part, we got to go all the way back, circle back and say it, to Milky Ray.
Oh, yeah, the way it started, and we kind of zeroed in on him among a number of players in the first half, but he has been every bit as advertised. Came in averaging 9.6 per carry and has had a great first half.
Yeah, first 4 touchdowns, his fingerprints all over them, 3 on the ground, 1 a 13-yard reception, and he's already up over 200 yards tonight as the leader. Well, let's check in with the head man on the Erwin side of things. Time to get the thoughts of Rodney Pruitt on the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. So, Coach, I only have one question. What were your thoughts on the first half?
It was up and down. It was a defensive struggle. We couldn't really stop them. They couldn't really stop us. We settled in and we just made a couple more stops, and that's why we're up at the half. But it's not over. They're explosive offense. We've got to correct some things, make a few adjustments. But I like what we're doing offensively. I think we're staying balanced, running the ball and throwing the ball. So that keeps them off guard a little bit, and we got to bury it down in the second half.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you and your boys in the second half, then. Yes, sir. Thank you. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
700-plus yards of total offense between these two teams. As we said, 55 up on the board. 35 of them belong to his team as Erwin is out front. The Warriors with a halftime lead. You're going to see a whole lot at the upcoming Asheville Chevy show when the highlights package rolls around of number 3. Milky Ray, not the only back in this game making a difference. We called the name of Thompson, the name of Skinner over and over again. Explosive primetime plays mark this first half.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Supported from Asheville Chevrolet. Okay. Back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Asheville Chevrolet halftime show. Apologies, folks. Joining us here is the longstanding and proud supporter from the aforementioned Asheville Chevrolet, Mr. Bobby Roussel. Bobby, are you liking the game so far?
It's been a great game. Really enjoying it. Erwin's really putting the show on, but it looks like the Blue Devils are going to come back and get in this game.
I'm excited for the second half. What about you?
I'm really excited for the second half. It's really good when they got a lot of competition, and really proud to sponsor these children out here, giving all their hearts out.
You mentioned the sponsorship just now. Let's talk about that long-standing and proud sponsorship you guys have provided for so many years now. What does this truly mean for y'all at y'all score?
We're just really happy to be doing this for over a decade and sponsoring all these kids. They're getting a chance to be on TV that might not ever get a chance to be on TV.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bobby, let's talk about business over at Asheville Chevy. What's on the lot right now?
Well, we just got a couple new shipments of trucks in. We got Suburbans, we got Tahoes, we got Traverses. Whatever you need, if I don't have it, I'll get it.
Okay. Now, where can the good folks at home find you? Let's say I've never done business with Asheville Chevy, but I want to come see you first thing on Monday morning. Where can we find y'all?
That would be 205 Smoky Park Highway. I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. That's good stuff. So, Bobby, talk to me now. I know, obviously, our friend Stan, he's no longer with us, but you talk to me now. On behalf of you and Stan, what do y'all enjoy the most about supporting Friday Night Rivals, and why?
Just coming out here and watching these kids give all their hearts out to play. And they really spend a lot. These children are athletes, but they also have to go to school, and they study, and they give all their hearts to this game.
Indeed. Well, Bobby, once again, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, and of course the entire region, we truly cannot thank y'all enough for y'all's long-standing and proud support. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yes, sir. We'll be back in just a moment.
Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete, brought to you by Arby's.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals here on the Bojangles pregame show. Well, folks, throughout the course of the FNR season, we will feature an array of Arby's Scholar Athlete winners on this show. These Arby's Scholar Athlete winners are eligible to receive a $5,000 scholarship. This afternoon, we are joined by Mr. Judah Dayton, our Arby's Scholar Athlete winner from Erwin High School. Judah, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you.
Of course, and congratulations on this well, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, now, Judah, let's talk. You are a football star, obviously, so you don't have to ask you a very dual important question. A, how long have you played football? And B, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Played around 12 years, and I think we can come out on top.
I like it, man. Very ambitious indeed. Now, let's talk about your accomplishments within the sport of football. How deep do they run?
I've been a varsity starter for 3 years. I was second team all-conference last year, and I've racked up plenty of tackles over the years.
That sounds terrific, man. We're going to see some tackles tonight?
Yes, sir.
I like that. Now, let's talk about your academic powerhouse reputation. You are sitting on a bad boy 4.4 GPA. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What else can you share with us regarding your academic, in this case, remarkable academic accomplishments?
I take plenty of AP classes. I do dual enrollment, which is basically AB Tech college classes throughout our high school, throughout Buncombe County. And I am a part of the student government, vice president.
I like it, man. And for 3 years now, is that right?
3 years.
Very impressive indeed. So what are some of your post-high school plans, and do they include playing football as well?
Yes, sir. I plan on going to college, going to Clemson University, hopefully, studying mechanical engineering or civil engineering, and I'd like to play football at the next level.
That sounds fantastic, buddy. Now, I gather you also have quite the presence in the community as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your community involvement.
In student government, we do plenty of community events like Trunk or Treat or an Easter egg event, and I also coach a Little League football team, and I'm an assistant coach, but I'm there every night yelling at the boys, coaching them up, making sure they're doing everything right.
All noble work indeed. Well, once again, you are our Arby's Scholar Athlete winner for this week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Arby's, we have the meats. We'll be back in just a moment.
The score, leading back on 56, Portland, leading Blue Ridge, Williams, Williams, 13. Hendersonville, leads 32. In West District, leading halftime, Burger, 20-15. All right, get your tickets out. All over here. Get your tickets out. $481, guys. That's how much we won last week. So $480 cash. You just need a good shake. Be able to pull one out here. Coach wants me to do this, that's what I know he does. All the other guys out there too, that's too. And this guy over here. The winning number is 0-888-33. 0-888-33. You are the winner of $481. You've got 30 seconds to get in the stands and get your ring, or we'll call another number. I'm just kidding. I do that to every week. 0-888-33. 0-888-33. You are the winning number. And the winner of $481 cash.
$35-20 at the break. Erwin Warriors out front as we welcome you back to the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. A lot of offense in this one, Tom. 700-plus yards between these two teams to this juncture. You think about the long touchdown runs and passes in some cases. Here's how it all adds up. You see the 409, the headlining number on the Erwin side of things.
Yeah, anytime you rush for 24 yards per carry, that's pretty good in the first half. And, you know, for Brevard, you had 10 yards per carry as well. But, boy, just big plays all over the place, short drives, many of them less than a minute, some of them less than 30 seconds the first half. And one of the huge plays in the game was the turnover. Looked like it was 28-20 opportunity maybe to get it in there for a touchdown, and fumbled it, got it back, and the next play went 80 yards for a touchdown and widened it out here at half.
We will see what the second half holds. It is coming up on the other side of our final break for you. Third quarter on the horizon.
Well, hello there, everybody. Thank y'all so much. Well, hello there, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to tonight's Friday Night Rivals football game. Joining us today is our good friend all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Taylor Newhouse. Taylor, are you loving the game so far?
Absolutely. It's been a fun one to watch.
It has been a fun one to watch. Now, what are you anticipating? An explosive finish, I hope?
We always hope for an explosive finish, but definitely an interesting game.
All right, we got to talk at the end of the game then.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about high school athletics in general, because from what I understand, Ingalls Markets, y'all have had a long-standing and robust partnership, not just with our organization, but the entire community as a whole. Let's talk about the dynamics of that partnership.
Absolutely. We kind of gravitate towards athletics because we feel like it's a great way to reach our communities, but we're with these kids all the way from that first day of elementary school all the way through college. So we're really following them, but athletics is a good way to bring it all together because everyone loves a Friday night football game.
They do indeed, including you and I. That's
Absolutely.
Right. So it sounds like you guys really do bridge that link between academics and athletics. Am I correct to assume that?
Yes, definitely. We're there to support children through their entire educational experience.
Speaking of supporting children, y'all have people who come into y'all stores and end up working for y'all, people who you go to church with. I mean, this really is a tight-knit community. Is that right?
Absolutely. Ingalls is a beacon in all of our communities, and we love to get people in and out of the store, especially these kids that are working at our stores, our athletes and students in the schools that we support as well.
That's indeed right. Well, Haley, you know what time it is. It's time to get back to some football.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys next time on Friday Night Rivals.
35-20 at the intermission. Tom, you talk about what these teams were able to do in the first half. Let's discuss how that translates into the second half. Here are our Hyundai of Asheville keys to the game.
Yeah,
we revisit them for the third quarter.
We're talking about handle that pressure. Erwin with their big defensive ends that they've been able to do in the pressure up front. They've been to the tune of 409 total yards in the first half. Eliminate big plays. There have been some big plays on Brevard's part in the first half, but overall, given what Erwin's been able to do, not too bad. Brevard up front battle. They wanted to handle the offensive line and the defensive line, and I think Erwin has had an advantage in that category. And then tackle and space, there have been a couple of opportunities to bring down the ball carriers before some of those big runs, and they haven't been able to do that.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Hyundai of Asheville. 35-20, our halftime score, and we are now moments away from the third quarter kickoff from here at Brevard.
Thank you for your support for the HS Cheer. Thank you very much. Girls like you have one more. That's a lot of fun. Takes pretty great. Thank you. Have a good evening. Guys, we're going to meet next Sunday. We'll do it again.
To the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner as we await the thoughts of Coach Coleman on the Brevard side of things 3 years into his tenure here at Brevard. His team, as Tom said, moments of brilliance in that first half. And Tom, the adjustments slight on both sides offensively, you would think, when you talk about how successful these two teams were. It's just going to be a matter of finding a way to get some key stops for Brevard to crawl right back in the thick of this thing.
Yeah, defensively, it's got to start there. And both teams have given up big plays, but particularly Brevard, they need to get some stops. And then when they get the ball back offensively, they've got to be able to put it into the end zone, put some pressure on Erwin. I think Erwin feels like they can do about what they want to offensively.
Certainly the case so far. Both these teams with some great offensive moments. Will be great to hear what Coach Coleman has to say about it. Now standing by with Nelson.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, talk to me about your thoughts on the first half, and also talk to me about what was the message to the boys in the locker room as well.
A message to the kids: got to get out of the quicksand. We've not made plays on defense, and it's uncharacteristic of us. And we got to be able to get out of the quicksand and make plays. At the end of the day, we ain't stopped them but one time, and that's not good enough.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you boys in the second half. Yes, sir. Tom, Jason, back to you guys.
That is the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner. Tom, it was quick and to the point, but no doubt his conversation with his team at halftime very similar to that, because you discuss, what they've done well, what they must do moving forward, and it ends up being a very simple formula. Let's look back at some of the moments from the first half. You know you're going to see a lot of Milky Ray.
Well, it starts on the second play of the game, and he thunders 53 yards and got him off running in the early part of the ball game. And then, Brevard coming back here, the quarterback at that point, able to make a nice run, 33 yards up the sideline for the touchdown.
I want to take a look at what happened there. Guess what? More Milky Ray. Up over 200 yards in the first half of action. He had a touchdown catch here along with the 3 touchdown runs.
Boy, I tell you what, and again, placed right on the money coming out of the backfield. Very successful there, and then able to get off the right side and take it the distance. And up the sideline and reaped in there for the score was not real Skinner. He had a good first half.
Skinner had a good first half. Thompson had a good first half. Nobody with a better first half than Milky Ray. He was off to the races one more time. Here was, though, the long run, the 92-yard run handled by Braylon Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson will take it the distance as well. And then, of course, able to get another one in there from Michael Petty as well.
Well, you add it all up. We said it earlier, 700-plus yards of total offense between these two teams. The good news for Brevard, after hearing from their head man a moment ago, Blue Devils get the football first, so they'll have a chance to potentially set the tone for this second half.
Everybody always says it, Jason. Every game ever played, that first possession of the second half, depending on the circumstances. And in this case, I think it's a very important possession for Brevard. And Coach talking about Rodney Pruitt for Erwin, the balance that they had. 9 carries, 217 yards, 9 carries, and we can do that math there, and 192 yards passing. So balanced offense in the first half. You got to like that particular situation, and Brevard able 284 rush and just 26 through the air.
Yeah, very pleased with what his team has been able to do, no doubt. A little bit of warm-up tosses necessary for Benji Kessinger. Kessinger, along with Conley, posting time at the quarterback position for Brevard as the Blue Devils get ready to receive the second half kick. And here it is, a third quarter now underway here at Brevard. Boy, good return, Blue Devils. Here's more down the far side for Thompson. He's been so good tonight, and Braylon Thompson provides that spark that Brevard was looking for out of the locker room.
Well, kicked it short, and then he's able to get a full head of steam, as the cliche goes, and then he just cuts it up, and we saw what he could do in the first half, taking the distance for a touchdown. And, man, what a way to start. That's exactly what Brevard was looking for here to start the second half, and they'll have great field position to do so.
Set up shop at the 28-yard line to get it going. Little motion on this first play. And they're going to run that direction. Plenty of blocking there for the taking as it goes back into the grasp one more time of Nyrell Skinner. Skinner, the junior, out of that running back tandem. Alongside Thompson, they share a class, and boy, they've shared the responsibilities tonight. Here's another good run.
And Balin comes up and makes that tackle, and you got the blocking out on the edge there. Has been very effective to a certain extent tonight.
Well, actually, we get a chance there to see Brevard utilizing another back as they go Carter happy direction, and here they go now on the middle, right between the hashes, down to the 10-yard line. So, Tom, you get to see some new faces working their way into the mix here as Brevard showing a number of weapons in the arsenal.
Yeah, short kickoff, start that drive at the 28-yard line, keep it on the ground, and getting good yardage on seems like each and every possession. And when you're a strong safety, Finland is making some tackles in the secondary, you know you're getting the job done up front.
First bank red zone opportunity for Brevard. Keep it on the ground. Continuing to work his way into the scorebook. How about this? 2-1 comes in. Makes a difference with a united touchdown for Brevard. Just the opening drive that Brevard was looking for. And here's the catalyst.
Well, it started with a great field position, and then there's the wide open look there. Great blocking up at the edge and on the outside. And young man got an opportunity to play. Boy, did he take early advantage of it here.
Yeah, big difference made. McPhee comes in, begins to rush the football on this opening drive. He proves to be the surprise of the opening stages of this third quarter. And in becoming so, has Brevard much closer in the opening stages of the second half. Don't forget to keep an eye on News 13 each Friday at 11 for Friday Football Frenzy, brought to you by Foundation Solutions of Western North Carolina. Each Friday throughout the season, Chris Womack and Marvin Parker give extended coverage to all the high school football in our area. That's Friday Football Frenzy, Friday nights at 11. This one will no doubt factor prominently when you talk about highlights tonight. A one-score game now in the third quarter after this tremendous drive for Brevard. You know, the return set it all up for Thompson. And they call on number 2-1 to get the job done here. McPhee coming on and beginning to make his presence known in this contest. And, you know, number of different backs we've already talked about tonight, Tom. Who will be those continuing to emerge down the stretch? May go a long way to determining who wins this football game. Brevard did what they needed to do, though, on that first possession.
Well, they did, and they got great field position. It was a short kick, outstanding return, set it up. They got blocking early on up front to get good gains, and then got to take it in there for the touchdown. And now let's see what their defense could do.
First touch for Erwin in the third quarter. You probably are not surprised Milky Ray gets that first touch of the third quarter. Number 3, who has over 200 yards tonight easily, is up across the 25-yard line. If fans weren't with us, how do you describe Milky Ray's first half tonight?
Oh, well, I mean, one of the ages, really, when you take a look at what he was able to do. 4 touchdowns and 3 on the ground, 53 and 54, and had the touchdown reception as well along the way. So 3 long touchdown runs and just a tremendous first half, one of the best we've seen.
Across the 30, and everything stacked up at the 31-yard line. Number of those Blue Devil jerseys on the scene. But on second and short, that was more than enough to move the change. Fresh set of downs coming after this little toss out near side. That was Petty again. And he weaved enough through that traffic to move the chains. Timeout being called for. It looks like we have an injured player at around the 27-yard line. Going to be tended to. That's the all-important Lawson Reynolds, who is down for Erwin. Reynolds, of course, one of those guys, having been on the field the majority of the night, Tom, he's one of those Iron Men two-way players for the Warriors.
Well, they're looking for a stop here. That's for sure. I mean, with 35-27 ball game, and, you know, hasn't been that hot. Actually, it's been a great night for high school football. We've had 2 out of the first 3 have been pretty good, but you know it's early in the season still, and you hope that he can recover from that.
Now, he's one of those that has lived up to the definition of that moniker, of that mascot. Has been a Warrior tonight, and Reynolds is going to take a little bit of time working his way off to the far side. Now remember, the work was done to secure the yardage needed a moment ago for the first down on the Erwin side of things. First touch of this half for Erwin, and Erwin making use of so many of their touches of the football in that first half. Led it 21-6 at the end of the first quarter. Led it 35-20 at the intermission, and now up 35-27, and with training staff doing a very nice job working with Lawson Reynolds. The Erwin offense trots back out onto the field. Here is Rodney Pruitt. How about a quarter century in the coaching ranks here in Western North Carolina for Rodney Pruitt? Been doing it a long time. We'll see him 2 weeks in a row. We have his team at home next week as Friday Night Rivals rolls on. Still up across the 35 and near the 40-yard line. Caden Ingle, from time to time, they'll use his size, Tom, for positive yardage, and that moves the chains.
Another broken tackle, though. Had a really good chance. No gain, maybe a loss of 1. But again, big guy, 6'3", 216. He's only a sophomore. He broke that tackle. It looked like maybe he might be behind the chains a little bit there, but he turned out to get about an 8-yard gain.
The sophomore southpaw, as we have termed him across the course of this one. Big-time test for him in the early stages of his second season at the helm of this program at quarterback. He's going to turn hand to Milky Ray. That's one of the best things he can do, regardless of what the classification is going to be beside his name. And Ray stacked up. Brevard a little more ready for number 3 in this second half. He has a short game, and it's going to make it second down and about 6.
That's a plus right there. I mean, the touchdown to 53, 54, 80 on the ground, receiving for 13 yards. Anytime he can hold him just a couple of yards, that's a win situation for Brevard.
He's introduced to Cooper Weaver this time around. Got a player down for Erwin once again on that far side on the other side of the hash, and that looks to be Milky Ray that's down over there, Tom.
Yep.
And boy, what a
keep an eye on that
difference this would make for Erwin. You know, you saw just a moment ago the player shaken up was Lawson Reynolds, and now Milky Ray, 2 of the premier performers on the Erwin side of the ball, you know, having to be tended to by the training staff.
Earlier in the game, late in the first half, remember, we had one shot kind of kind of limping around just a little bit, and he was waving them off. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But let's hope he's okay here. And you know, I think with Reynolds playing on both sides of the football, and that might have had something to do with his particular situation. But nice to see him go off. We'll get one more look here, and bottled up, and sometimes that foot will get caught underneath, and 4 players bring him down at that point.
Took 4 blue jerseys to wrestle him down there, and that speaks to what Milky Ray's night has been. A little toss after a fake on the handoff to Omarion Smith, and the pass incomplete. Was in the general direction. Looked to be of Noah Hudham. I haven't really talked that much tonight about a guy who may be one of the X factors on this team. He's a newcomer, worked his way into the lineup, guy with a basketball background. He had a brother who played in college who's now on the staff, and he could be that surprise guy this year. Noah Howden, one of the targets on this night. This is in the direction of Michael Petty, and that too is incomplete. Caden Ingle fired the cannon, but it was too tall, and 4th down is coming.
Hey, that's a huge stop. You get that touchdown to begin things in the first half and get within 35-27, and now you're going to get the football back. I mean, it has been really difficult situation. They had the one interception, they recovered it, and then they were able to go 80 yards, get the score to widen it out a bit, but then turn it over on downs. That was it as far as in the first half. Rest of them were touchdown.
Well, this is obviously, that being true, the first time that Erwin has kicked the football away to Brevard. The punting unit out there, something that has not been necessary for the Warriors. Left-footed kick, and that is straight up. It's going to land atop the Brevard logo. Fortunately for the Warriors, it takes a major Erwin bounce to see to it that Brevard will start from their side of the 50. Just 21 yards on the punt, though, and Brevard with 1 on the board. Set up nicely. Brevard ball when we return. (35-27). A lot of football left as we bring you back with the Caroline Albee Orthodontics Smile Cam. Well, Brevard, all smiles when you consider how this third quarter has started, Tom. Home team pleased with a touchdown already in the books in the third, and the football right back in their hands.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do. They had the ball to begin things in the third quarter, and everybody talks about it, how important it was. But I thought in this particular game it was really important, and if you can get on the board, which you did, and then get your defense out on the field and get the offense back, force a punt, everything right now anyway scripted with Brevard's way here in the second half.
You'd be smiling too. That's the Caroline Albee Smile
Nicely
Cam
done.
for this night, and Caroline Albee is responsible for our smile cams throughout this season on Friday Night Rivals. Another reason to smile, we talked about it earlier, but you see a big patriotic emphasis tonight as well, and that always brings a smile to your face when you consider all the great freedoms we enjoy in the United States of America. The flag's prevalent down there, and well, you got one red team, one blue team, and a lot of white out there. We got it all covered in terms of Americana on this night. Thompson on the move. He's across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Very shifty back, Tom, in the way he can move through traffic. Of course, you know how explosive he can be in open space. Why not continue to call number 5?
Yeah, and look at this. Take one step that way, and he's got to read it, cut back, good block out on the edge, get what you can up inside. So, good gain there.
Two to the right side, one of those in motion, and they're going to fake the give, and boy, able to elude some trouble and get it to Young. How about this? And he's inside the 45. Boy, the nice job done there. Do not let it go unnoticed by the QB.
Yeah, well done, and young man that has experience for a couple of years and good play. Steps up, fires it out, had a man there, and took his time, didn't get in a hurry, and a nice pass play there.
35-27 deficit, 8 minutes, and ticking downward remaining in the third quarter. This third quarter so far, all Brevard. Blue Devils under the direction of Benji Kessinger on the move again. Moving through. Inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. Another dose of Braylon Thompson.
And what you really liked about that, didn't get in a hurry. Sometimes you hand the ball off and you just jam it up inside and you bounce off of your own offensive lineman. Took a lot of time there, saw what was there, a little bit of a crease, accelerate, get what you can, and it brings up a second down short.
Braylon Thompson, 12 carries, up over 150 yards on the night. On the Brevard side of things, you'll remember he has one of the touchdowns for the Blue Devils as well. Is kept in his hands. Why not? Thompson, about a 150-yard night from the back for Brevard, and he's not the only headliner on that side. We talked about Milky Ray's 200-plus yard night and the 3 rushing touchdowns along with the receiving TD. Now, for all the talk about quarterbacks in this one, backs like this guy Thompson have stolen the headlines.
I tell you what, and nicely done there by Erwin Young. He just kind of gets in the way there, and he's able to cut off of him. So a nice read by both of those young men up inside between the tackles there.
Well, we're told that those guys up front, certainly the wide receiver groupings, what they're able to do, helping provide open real estate for the stable of backs. Quick toss to Thompson. He turns the corner, may have had some help there. We'll see. A flag is down in what is usually the holding area, back around the 36-yard line for our officials to sort out. Have not in some time introduced you to the guys in stripes. Here's a look at the call. It is a holding call. That takes care of things at the 6:33 mark here. Brevard on the move, down a score. Our referee, of course, Andy East. Shane Galloway, our umpire. Dean Klontz, our linesman. Timothy Lewis, our line judge. Brandon Luther, our back judge. Group handling things for you from an officiating standpoint tonight to get their names in on our Friday Night Rivals broadcast. Thompson. No flag this time around. Well, I say too soon. No flag this time around. Just as he worked his way out of bounds, the flag came in near sight at the end of the play. Whole different area. So we'll see what this call is going to be as our officials gather up and talk it over.
You know, the play before that, Jason, we haven't seen the toss sweep that much by Brevard and Thompson particularly. They've been able to take it up inside and make some cuts off of that for success, and then try to get it out on the edge, and that's when the penalty came, and here comes one more.
This a personal foul against Erwin. Well, you knew both from the location of the flag and the timing in which it came in. This wasn't going to be detrimental to Brevard like the prior play. It's going to march the Blue Devils much closer on the personal foul. You know, again, this is something that plagued Erwin a week ago, Tom. We talked about it. Ultimately, the loss of Lawson Reynolds was a factor for Coach Pruitt's team, as he told us.
Yeah, that's a big call right there, because the other call had gone against Brevard and had pushed them back after they had really good field position. Now they have real good field position at the 23-yard line. And so Coach Pruitt, they're not real happy with that call.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than this for Brevard with that quick change of events. Ball on the 22. 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils, just below that Blue Devil logo, no less. Here's Thompson again. He's trying to find some space. Very little real estate. The 20-yard line, all he'll find. 2 yards brings up 2nd and 8.
I'll tell you again, I mean, Holder's going to be one of those guys that comes up and help makes the tackle, but Thompson, pretty good cut there. Wasn't anything inside, and then as he cuts it outside, he gets cut down over there, and nicely done.
Trying trying to make some room. That offensive line of Zuniga, Garrett, Scruggs, Rice, Nevin. Dealing with Ray, Luther, Miller, Davis. Part of that group up front for Erwin. Like he was shot out of a cannon after that hopped up into his grasp. QB, but there is very little there, and here comes an important third down.
I'll tell you what, they're very lucky. It's an oblong ball, and you never know which way it's going to bounce. That's a great decision. Just get it and go. And then Jackson Davis, they were planning, but he was able to get a couple of yards.
Kessinger tried to make something out of it. He accelerated quickly, as we referenced. Closes in on 5 minutes. Most of this drive featuring jersey number 5, Braylon Thompson. Will they go his direction once more here on 3rd and what's a long 4 on the scoreboard? Thompson inside the 15. Got to be close to the first down. It looks like he's a little shy of the marker. And 4th is coming.
I'll tell you what, that's between the tackles again, and we've seen both those backs with good cuts, and it was again Davis, Jackson Davis closing it down, but still able to get some movement there, and here comes a big play.
4th down after this 3rd down try, which left the home team about 2 yards shy. Major moment in the 3rd quarter. Across the 10, the first down and then some. As they call number 5 again, Braylon Thompson moves the chain.
Yeah, I mean, nothing fancy there. They've been able to run that ball between the tackles, and, you know, they didn't get fancy at all. Try to throw it, just put it on your offensive line up front, and on Thompson, who's had a really solid performance tonight, and he's able to pick it up for a first down. There is a flag kind of thing.
Well, and that flag is a personal foul penalty against Erwin, which is going to set it up 1st down and goal for Brevard.
Wow, and that's the second one on this particular drive. Brevard had a penalty, and they were pushed way back, and that set everything up to provide opportunity for this.
Just when it looked like the Warriors at the intermission were in control, Brevard looking to secure the first 2 scores of the second half and pull right up alongside the Warriors. Ball is on the 5, 1st and goal after the second of the personal foul penalties Tom mentioned. Trying to bounce it outside, but there is no room for Thompson. One of the reasons, Lawson Reynolds out there quickly.
And a little bit of a mishandle there. The timing off just a hair. We'll get one more look at it. And fortunate to get it. Penetration up front. I think it was Holder that did it. And then you get backside Davis, and then finished it off, as you mentioned, by the free safety runs.
Yeah, Jackson Davis really doing the good part of that. Talked about his high IQ, big-time performer as the rover on this defense. Credit Jackson Davis with making sure it's a 2nd and goal. How about this old formation? That'll take you back to some tremendous football history, right? And it's used as a decoy to make the connection far side with Henry Ogle, who reels it in for the touchdown. Brevard setting it up O-I style, making it look like they're going to rush the football, only to toss it in Henry Ogle's direction for the United touchdown.
I mean, we got everybody on the line of scrimmage. Take a look at this again, and then going to roll out and just drop it out there. He's open, makes that catch. And heck of a drive, heck of a start, second half.
The 2-point conversion try in an effort to tie up the football game for Benji Kessinger and company. Straight toss to Thompson. Just enough room to find the plane. And Thompson has converted on the 2-point try to put us even at 35 with 3:32 to go in the 3rd. A United touchdown, 2nd of the 3rd quarter for Brevard, and the 2-point conversion knotting things up in Transylvania County.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. Well, folks, I'm standing here on the sideline with some of the gorgeous cheerleaders here at Brevard High School. Ladies, on behalf of My 40 and Friday Night Rivals, thank y'all so much for hosting us here this evening. We do appreciate it. And we now proudly present y'all a check for $500.
Well, the home side also excited about the first 2 touchdowns of the third quarter belonging to the guys in that trademark Brevard blue. And with a 2-point conversion, it is now 35 all. Top 10 plays, 62 yards, 5.5 minutes. And on top of all that, the 2-point conversion by Thompson after the toss to Henry Ogle for the TD. When everybody in the yard was thinking run just a moment ago. Nicely done on the entirety of the drive by Brevard.
Given the formation, particularly, and the success they'd have running the football, is just jam it up inside, and nice call, and what a start for the second half. And the other part we haven't mentioned is the ability to get the ball into the end zone.
Will he become a factor once again? Ray, who was a little banged up earlier, now back out there. He was the headliner in the first half for this Warriors squad. They'll toss it Milky Ray's direction, and he's up across the 20 to the 21. Suffice it to say, the entirety of the Brevard defense has been keying on jersey number 3 in this second half.
Well, I'm sure that at halftime there was a spirited conversation because there were so many big plays, and if it just joined us, Milky Ray himself, 53, 54, 80-yard runs, caught a pass for 13, and had 409 total yards in the first half. The second possession, they made him kick the football.
As a team, of course, the 409, Milky Ray, 200 plus of his own with those 4 touchdowns he was a part of. So it has been a point of emphasis, as you said, Tom, to say the least. That's in and out of the hands of his intended target, Lawson Reynolds. Just that quickly, it's 3rd down, and here's Brevard with a chance to get it right back.
I know, that's why you keep playing. I mean, still 2:52 third quarter. We've got a long way to go in this game, and we're tied at 35. It's been an exciting one here tonight, Brevard.
Well, keep in mind, Erwin led 21-6. That was at the end of the first quarter. They led 35-20. That was the end of the first half. But 15 unanswered in this third quarter. As Brevard on even footing. And now the Brevard defense trying to rise tall again. More pressure on the QB, but he had a man wide open. Slant into the hands of Michael Petty, and he's going to take it home. That's Petty's speed. They know something about that in North Carolina. He looked like another Petty that used to roam this state.
Yes.
As you saw the acceleration, finding another gear, Michael Petty takes it home just like that. Erwin has an answer for the Brevard surge in the early stages of this third quarter. 78 yards by Michael Petty.
I tell you, and you saw him drop down. A tremendous pass. I mean, under pressure, step down, sidearm, and got him on the run. He takes his position for the touchdown.
How many touchdowns, whether they be runs or receptions, have we seen of the 75-plus yard variety tonight? If you like big plays, if you like explosive offense, this has been the evening for you. And Michael Petty puts Erwin back out front. Carolina Furniture Concepts is a presenting sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Carolina Furniture Concepts, over $5 million of furniture in stock, ready to deliver to you. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms today or go online at carolinafurnitureconcepts.com. Well, 3 plays, 80 yards, and 52 seconds later, including 78 of those yards on the reception by Petty. Erwin is back out front.
This is remarkable what we've been able to see offensively, and what a great comeback for Erwin after Brevard here in the third quarter.
Keep in mind, Tom, and this is something worth remembering, this is going to go out of bounds, and the flag for the kick out of bounds will mean pretty good field position to begin things for Brevard. Keep in mind, that was a third down play. It looked like perhaps Brevard was going to get right off the field with a chance to take its first lead of the night. A third down conversion to remember, the 78-yard variety for Erwin.
Yeah, and if folks weren't with us in the first half, it was a 28-20 game when Brevard had an interception. Looked like it was going to go the distance for a touchdown. Was hit, fumbled, and got the ball back, did Erwin. The next play was an 80-yard play the other way, and it changed the dynamics of that game.
Just when it looks like it's trending Brevard at any point,
man,
Erwin has the timely answer. Here's the Brevard offense after the flag for the kick out of bounds, taking over at the 35. Up across the 37 and still winding and spinning and twisting forward up near the 40-yard line. And one of a handful of key carries tonight for Nyrell Skinner. Remember, Skinner first to find pay dirt on the Brevard side of things. He has a touchdown tonight. Braylon Thompson obviously factoring heavily in. Henry Ogle has reeled in a touchdown tonight. Interestingly enough, it's one of the things we were discussing at the half. Eli Griffin had been targeted just once. Dylan Galloway had been targeted just once tonight. Those are the two headliners on the Brevard side of things. Talked about the touchdown for Skinner. He's 2 yards shy of 100 tonight and right at double-digit carries. Probably just worked his way across that 100-yard threshold with this carry as he sets up a third down and short. Been a good night for Skinner. 13 carries to be specific now and just over 100 yards alongside that touchdown. But Tom, suffice it to say, without Eli Griffin being among the heavily featured individuals and Dylan Galloway just the one catch for no yards to this point, this Brevard team with that surrounding cast getting the job done to stay right in the thick of it. Skinner, one of the reasons he's up near midfield with his carry, and that's a first down.
I mean, it's maybe ironic to say, but 42-35, it's going to come down to a couple of defensive plays, I think, in this one. And, you know, we talked about Erwin in the first half at 409 total yards, 217 passing, and Brevard had 284 rushing. You know, they're on their way to 400 yards on the ground maybe here before the ball game's over.
Who can make the stop? The major question between these two teams as you get a look at big 5'6" filling up your screen there. One of the many in and out on this defensive side for Erwin. Kessinger rolls, and he's going to be covered up. Boy, look at the coverage provided by Judah Dayton. We told you Judah Dayton's story in the first half. You know what he is, student body president, a guy, high GPA, high energy on the defensive side of the ball. Why do they call him the QB of the defense? Rarely fooled, and it is Judah Dayton who comes up and makes the stop.
Yeah, he does. That's a nice play, but give kudos as well to the guys on the backside because there was nothing there, and then able to close it down to make the play.
Second down from behind the sticks for Brevard, just to top that Brevard logo. .24 again. Another dose of Skinner. And across midfield, he's going to make the third down manageable, Tom. It's going to be about 3rd down and 5 when the fourth quarter begins. 3 are in the books in Transylvania County. Nothing yet settled between the Blue Devils and the Warriors. Fourth quarter set to begin. You never know what you're going to see in Transylvania County, known for the occasional white squirrel. Of course, those waterfalls. What a sunset we had tonight. And a great football game between the Warriors and Blue Devils. Big third down to open the fourth period of play. Before it happens, flags fly, and they'll have to sort out a penalty on what would have been 3rd and 6. Boy, from the sunset that started this thing to the back and forth battle that has marked it, Tom. Been a great night for football here in Western North Carolina.
I'll tell you what, it's been a fun one to be a part of, and resilient effort really by both teams. Brevard was so far behind, as you mentioned, 21-6 and then 35-20. They had 2 touchdowns begin the third quarter, got it tied, and then another big play by Erwin. Then a slew of those on both teams tonight. 3rd down and 11 here behind the sticks. As they'll toss it near side, Thompson gets back to midfield, that's all. So it's going to be 4th and about 7 when it all sorts out. Yeah, the scores Tom gave you into the first quarter, 21-6, into the half, 35-20. And though we were even at 35 apiece after the 2-point conversion from Brevard with those 2 early third quarter scores, Erwin has pushed back ahead now, and Brevard is set to kick it away. And that penalty was huge.
Absolutely huge, backing it up and forcing the punting unit on with that stop. Here's Henry Ogle, who caught the most recent Brevard touchdown pass, and he's in there to kick it away. Also handles the punting responsibilities for the Blue Devils. And he puts a booming kick together here. It's going to bounce around the 15, be blown dead there as it's covered up by Brevard. And on this case, Jack Switmeyer, who comes diving in there, a junior, to get the job done.
Boy,
the job he does here. So just what you want from Henry Ogle in the punt department. Special teams doing their part as the Blue Devils will look to rise tall defensively. Well, this is where you put the football in the hands of a guy who's been the headliner tonight, right? And Milky Ray. And that's exactly what Erwin will opt to do. Keep it on the ground. And it's stacked up initially by that front for Brevard. But Brevard's front, Tom, when you consider Judson Weaver, who we've talked about, an all-conference defensive lineman, Zion Brown, who was the Asheville Citizens Time Defensive Lineman of the Year, what Owen and Blythe have been able to do up front. The real discussion was how tough this front can be for Brevard, and boy, do they need to rise to the occasion right now.
Well, they do, and that was a good way to begin things because of the tremendous success and big plays that Erwin's had. And you know, we're 10.5 to go in this game and deep in their own territory, and if you could force a kick here, probably come up pretty good field position.
That was Blythe filling up your screen. This is set up inside to Petty, and Petty showing his speed once more. Second consecutive premier performing play for Michael Petty, who takes it all the way home. And Erwin has re-established that arm's length lead over Brevard with the speed of Michael Petty. A united touchdown for number 6.
I mean, had opportunity out on the edge there, and then, well, once Petty or Ray, they get a stride or two and forget it. Nobody's going to catch them, and that's another huge play in this game and another big one for
extra point, as it has been throughout the night. Austin Travinsky good in the kicking game. Gabriel Leonardo good, the sophomore, in the kicking game in the tandem with the upperclassmen. And all the playmakers showing up tonight for the visiting Warriors. Michael Petty with his 2nd consecutive TD. Well, if you enjoy what you're seeing from the Erwin Warriors tonight, tune in next week. You'll get another dose of Erwin, as they will be the host school against West Henderson. That's our next edition of Bojangles Friday Night Rivals, coming your way from Erwin with a 7 o'clock start next Friday night. Rodney Pruitt and company at it again. Certainly pleased with the way things have gone in recent moments. The last 14 points belonging to his Erwin Warriors. And that's the lead built at 49-35. You know, he said the pregame meal is a little nicer when we're at home.
Yes.
The travel down I-26 is not necessary when we're at home. And we get a little more time at the Lions Club to walk through some things when we're at home. He said, but I like being at home. I like being on the road. We embrace both environments and enjoy the back and forth. I love what he said. When you've been at home a couple of weeks, it's nice to be on the road. When you've been on the road a couple of weeks, it's nice to be at home. His team has been on the road for a couple of weeks, and it will be nice for them to return home next week. Erwin hoping to do so with a W, and Tom, so far so good to that end.
Just major league drives and touchdowns. Touchdowns of 53, 54, 13, 80, 80, 78, and 84. And how about all but one of those less than a minute? I mean, Petty's catching Ray, right? I mean, in terms of the big plays in this game.
The numbers are there.
Yes.
That was an 84-yard drive, 2 plays, and an 84-yard touchdown for Petty. This going to be caught just on the Erwin side of the 50, and that required quite an adjustment that time from Eli Griffin. He showed his ability by coming back to the football here.
Yeah, I tell you, he's a guy that we chronicled, we looked at, the player to watch, and try to maybe get him involved a little bit more here late in the ballgame.
10 minutes to go. A lot of time left for Brevard. Needs something off this drive, one would think, and that's a nice pass zipped out there where it could be corralled eventually by Eli Griffin. Griffin, an all-conference performer. They talk about his quickness, and the Erwin coaching staff told us he's a guy that can stretch the field on you if you're not careful. Been a point of emphasis keeping him held down tonight, but he gets involved here. Here's a guy who's provided a spark at the beginning stages of the third quarter, and he's back in there getting the job done one more time. Carter McPhee getting the job done here. How about his emergence tonight,
Yeah,
Tom?
he got the start of the second half out of the backfield and eventually would score the touchdown, and now he gets involved in the passing game there. And it's, I think we say it like a broken record, but this is another big possession for the Brevard Blue Devils. They just been playing from behind all night.
Brevard not going away. They got it to 35 all a moment ago. Here's a tough snap, and just falling on it is Kessinger, as with 9:14 to go. It's going to be a second down and forever after the miscue. Untimely, that particular snap.
Yeah, you're at a point where you can't make those mistakes. And we saw one with on a drive a moment ago that kind of slowed it down a little bit, and this time mishandled a bad snap there.
Yeah, snapped right through the wickets. And Gabriel Leonardo, who we talked about as a kicking contributor tonight along the way, there to cover things up. One of those fresh bodies on the Erwin defense. 8:39 and downward it goes. Well, that's another tough snap. Big time recovery here, and it's into the grasp of Griffin. The ball is on the turf, and we'll see if they said he caught it or if it was incomplete. It looks as if the ruling is caught and fumbled. The second time we've seen that happen in a non-positive way for Brevard. And that's going to mean Erwin is going to take a look at this. They're going to say caught and fumbled, and they're setting up a fresh set of downs and a new possession for the Erwin Warriors. Boy, it happened on the defensive side for Brevard. You've got a good look at it here, and now it happens offensively, and it started there, Tom.
Yeah, a couple of bad snaps, and it's complete over the middle, and a nice hit knocked out of there, and Davion Ray, the defensive end, able to make it look.
Gonna take a shot, and it works out down the far sideline and into pay dirt is Lawson Reynolds. So often when you get a turnover and you can catch your opponent on their heels, it turns out just like this. A united touchdown for Erwin, and the Warriors have their largest lead of the night.
Man, oh man, I mean, it's amazing the momentum shifts that we have seen. All of a sudden, it's a 35-35 game, and everything going Brevard's way, and then it's kind of falling apart here late, and just a broken coverage there and a long touchdown pass.
Yeah, latest of the big plays for a Erwin Warriors team, now out front 56-35 with 8:19 left to play. Put two moments in the back of your mind from a fumble and recovery standpoint. A Brevard interception that was not, and a late offensive turnover that results in more Warriors points. Well, so many short drives tonight that will stand out off the score sheet when all is said and done for Erwin. Maybe none shorter than this one. 8 seconds, 57 yards, the connection to Reynolds, and a monster night coming together at the quarterback position for Erwin and Caden Ingle. Second year at the helm, 14 of 25, 330 yards, and he just tossed his 5th touchdown pass on the night for the Warriors.
I mean, that's remarkable. And they had 409 total yards at intermission. So, I mean, they're putting up mega numbers. And
what was that comment that was made about the sophomore quarterback after starting in his freshman year? I believe Rodney Pruitt told us they believe he's poised for a breakout season.
Breakout?
Yeah. Say it again. He is poised to do what he's done tonight. It's going to be headlines around Western North Carolina, but Brevard has an answer. Splits the gap and takes it home. Eli Griffin reminding everybody playmakers abound on both sides. right back where it came from for the junior Eli Griffin, or the senior, I should say, one of the senior leaders on this squad. The junior Thompson has been phenomenal tonight. The senior Griffin once more making a contribution right here.
Hey, we're not finished yet here on our home turf. Got it done, and he has that ability, and he was able to get another under short kick and take it the distance. So making another big play in this ballgame.
Brevard refusing to go quietly into the night here at home, as the 40-point threshold has been cleared by the Blue Devils. An immediate response. The extra point is good, and a 60-yard kickoff return from Eli Griffin, keeping Brevard's hopes alive. Take a look at this.
One more. I mean, he got it on the run, and if you give him some open turf, look out. He's talked about Petty. We talked about Ray. Griffin's another guy that can do that as well. 98 points. How about that, Jason? You and I have been doing this for 11 years. We've gone weeks where we haven't seen this many big plays combined. And these two teams here tonight, I mean, it is big play after big play after big play. We gave you all the ones there for Erwin, but you know, here's Brevard, 33-27, 92-yard run, 78-yard pass, 40-yard kickoff return. So I mean, they've got and done their damage as well here with big plays tonight.
Well, guess what? Eight and change remain on the scoreboard. We are in perhaps for a whole lot more between these two. 56 on one side, 42 on the other, and as many big plays as you may see in a full month of high school football, all occurring in this one Friday night in Transylvania County. Gave him something to cheer about on the Brevard side, did Griffin, and now we'll see what Erwin will do with the football back in hand. Guess who finds his way across the 25 to the 27, as Milky Ray had designs on another long run and perhaps a kickoff return of his own, but he's eventually covered up past the 25.
Good seeing him back in there. He'd gone off a little bit earlier, looked like maybe a little bit of an ankle situation, but if you look at him there and his cutting ability in traffic, he could be able to make a nice play there. And we talked about all the numbers and all the big plays, and Jason, in many cases when we do games, it's usually one team that maybe is predominantly better than the other, but these two teams, I mean, we thought they were relatively level coming in, and big plays both sides.
Milky Ray, 12th carry of the night right here. He's well up over 200 yards, has the 3 touchdowns, 233 at last check his yardage. Also has a receiving touchdown, and you saw what he almost did in the return game right there. Why not continue to feed number 3? His impact upon this game vast. You've heard all the things we've talked about with what the name lends itself to, the nickname Milky for Yasia Ray, who has been quite the product on the Erwin side of things. And you've heard us say for 2 years now, an out-of-this-world talent in Western North Carolina. Boy, has he proven to be that on this night. You put the way he's played the last couple of years on our air, Tom, with the emergence of Caden Engel tonight, now as a sophomore quarterback, and the surrounding casts of Petty and Reynolds and Cromer. You know, this is a team said they plan to be right there on the heels of Reynolds in the conversation conference-wise, and they certainly have the weapons to be right there.
Well, and the other part about that is those guys are all good in kick return as well. So, it is kind of a remarkable turnaround. 4-7 1 year ago, and at one point lost 6 out of 7, won 2 final regular season, had an opportunity, got beaten in the playoffs. And you're talking about a Brevard team that's coming off of one of their best seasons, long time, 10-3, 6-0 in conference, and got to the 3rd round before losing to Reedsville in 2A.
Yeah, a Brevard team that knows something about championship moments. You know, Rodney Pruitt said we were in the midst of, you see him on your screen there, in the midst of one of 2 3-game stretches that will define our season. He talked about the stretch they're in now after going to Heritage, nearly winning that one, then finding their way to this contest tonight. They'll have that key home game next week. And then, Tom, there's that conference stretch that's coming a little bit later on.
Yep.
They'll have Asheville, Reynolds, and TC back to back to back. 2 of those key games are on the road. That's the stretch that may very well define their season.
Yeah, I was going to say you start with Inc. at 3A, then you go at Asheville 4A, and again we talked a little bit in the first half about the situation in terms of the Condon Mountain Athletic Conference that they're in. 3 and 4A teams. Reynolds 3A, Robertson is 4A. McDowell's 4A team, and the North Buncombe is 3A. So yeah, Asheville, Reynolds, C.C. Robertson all in a row there. But I'll tell you,
that's the stretch. That's the stretch that he said. Rodney Pruitt said that's going to be the defining mark of our season. But he loves his balance. He loves his quarterback poise for a breakout year, and he's got that surrounding cast. This is a team that's going to be in the mix. They've proven tonight.
Well, I mean, they're going to score. There's no question about that. And I mean, they'll want to and take a look at the defensive side and hopefully have an ability to shore that up a little bit. But you know what? Brevard has had something to do with that tonight with some of the big plays they've been able to get underway.
Fun that comes from the type of nights they put together here. There's the winning formula. Boy, gathering this back up just in the nick of time was Reynolds, but they're going to say incomplete his direction. All in all, of little consequence, though heads up and trying to get to it. 4th down coming with 6:25 to go. The Warriors getting set to kick it away.
Well, we ran the first 2, and you were kind of thinking here you get a 56-42 lead and have had great success and huge plays all night long, but probably looking maybe hopefully for a sustained drive of some sort, but they threw it there and an incomplete pass, and it stops the clock at 6:25, and Brevard's going to get it back.
Left-footed effort from Petty. And gathered up last minute. Sought perhaps to catch them napping that Eli Griffin, but enough white jerseys there to gather him up, and Brevard will take over in their own territory at around the 37. 6 minutes to go. A couple of scores between these two. Far from settled, but an important drive coming up for Brevard. Erwin still in command, but we've seen how quickly this football game can turn on a dime more than once tonight.
And Jason, you were talking about the schedule on the other side for Brevard. You know, they got that good win against Pisgah, 35-0, and they went in and played Knoxville Catholic and lost at 19-14 at Knoxville Catholic to a highly rated team in Tennessee. And then they'll get into their 2A conference with East Rutherford, Central, Chase, Patton, at Hendersonville, and also Polk County.
Team that knows they have to win up front. You know, the conversation was how physical this Brevard team is. Win up front, get pressure on the opposing quarterback. Those formulas just as true in the late going here if they're to claw back in this thing. Little toss near side that's going to be in the hands of Braylon Thompson. Braylon Thompson, impressive night tonight for jersey number 5 on the Brevard side, but they're going to need some more with 6 and change to go. He's been in the mix. Skinner's been in the mix. Haven't heard as much from Dylan Galloway and Eli Griffin as we mentioned, though Griffin has certainly had his moments where he has shined. But you know they're going to have great years. Henry Ogle has a touchdown catch in this one. Griffin with the kickoff return in this half, which has really served to make his presence known. As I said, moments where he shows you how he can shine. Here's another nice catch in coverage as K.D. Brown was there trying to slow him. You know, we talk about how the group up front's got to be key for Brevard and the pressure on the defensive side. This secondary for Erwin has done a nice job limiting the yards after catch for the most part in moments like this in the second half, at least.
Particularly at a guy like Griffin, who a year ago had 28 catches, 515 yards, and 8 touchdowns, and 18.4. So he's a guy that can give you that yardage after catch.
Young corners that are learning, who are being asked to be aggressive for Erwin. That may be one of the X factors when you talk about that key conference stretch coming up in this season as a whole. There's going to be movement against Brevard that will back up the Blue Devils. That really is the question mark on defense. No doubt the playmakers are there for Erwin. How will this young secondary perform for Coach Pruitt?
Yeah, you're talking about Kadarian Brown, a left corner, the sophomore, 5'11", 153, and Marion Smith, who made a tackle a moment ago, 5'6", 136, a junior out of that right corner. You like Phelan and Reynolds at strong safety and free safety inside with some experience there.
Group that plays fast defensively in that 3-4. You know, they'll show you some 3-3 stack. It at least looks that way, but always a 3-4 base, we're told, from this group, just to try to deceive opposing offenses along the way. That has worked well enough for them to stay out front tonight. Here's another penalty for a false start. So some disruption being created up front, and Brevard finding it hard to get everything off without a hitch here all of a sudden. And that picture worth 1,000 words as you get a glance at Coach Coleman. Of course, his staff, the likes of Kessinger, who was the offensive coordinator, 10 years in at Brevard. That name should be familiar. You think about the QB situation. Deshaun Tears, Robinson, Ellenberger, Pearson, Worley, Rice, Owens, McIntyre, and the like. Picking up the staff for Brevard. Well, that tipped, it would appear, and then eventually caught. Just the second touch and the first for positive yardage tonight in the hands of Dylan Galloway. What a time it would be for him to emerge. A Brevard first down.
Yeah, watch this play right here. Conley lets it go. It's leaping tip there. And coming over, you've got Smith and Reynolds making that tackle in the secondary. And the big tight end Galloway.
Galloway, all-conference performer, who's going to participate in college football in the state of North Carolina, it would seem, at the next level. And you can see right away he passes the eye test. He's got the size for it at the tight end position. Shot up top, but the turn was just a little bit behind the throw, as Thompson put too much air underneath it. And that is incomplete. 4:13 remaining. Brevard a couple of scores behind Erwin here. And Erwin, having led by a couple of scores on more than one occasion, 21-6 at the end of the first, 35-20 at the half, and up 56-42 here. Go time for Brevard as they work from just atop the trademark B logo at midfield. Boy, pressure is there. Able to elude it and fire away, but this is too tall for Griffin to reel it in out of the hands of Conley. Conley, the other in the two quarterback system. They talk about how blessed they are to have these two guys that blend well. Both of them throw the football extremely well in preseason camp. Both of them also have the ability to also rush the football and be dual threat. Kessinger and Conley, what do you think about that combo we've seen tonight?
Well, I tell you, you get opportunity to get some experience there as well. We know what Kessinger can bring to the table is 1,400 yards last year, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. We can change it up a little bit. And Conley coming off 4 out of 5 for 64 yards in the first 2 games. Can throw it a little bit. He's got ability to run as well. Changes it up a little bit and gives the defense something to think about.
Complement one another nicely. Here's Conley. He backs way up in the pocket. And now fakes a toss downfield. He'll tuck it and carry it to the Erwin side of the field at the 45. That's going to make it 4th down and about 3.
A pretty good job there. I mean, wanted to throw it, it wasn't there, and it eludes a tackler, and that's Holder. That's hard to get away from him, but then that's a nice tackle by the cornerback coming up Smith to make the play.
Challenge for Brevard already, to say the least, but this 4th down, a must-have for the Blue Devils, needing a couple of scores to get back on even footing in this one. 4th down and 3 from the 45-yard line. Conley got a man. Keeping hope alive with the movement of the chains right over the middle and in the grasp of Solomon Young.
I tell you, that's a nice play right there. It's a 4th down and 3, and you thought, well, maybe dump it out, just get it over the middle, something like that. But I mean, random pattern, and just over the middle made the catch.
The wisdom of turning to Solomon here on 4th down, and they work their way forward with a fresh set, looking for the end zone, but it is picked off on the 1-yard line, sitting back there, reading the quarterback's eyes, and coming away with what may very well be the sealant. Amarion Smith with the pick for the Warriors.
You know, if he throws that ball just a little bit farther, and he didn't, great job we see in the celebration going on. I think that he had a man behind him there, but good read, great reaction by the young guy, and we just talked about the cornerback play, and he's there. I mean, if he's open, but he just underthrew it a little bit and able to come up with the INT.
Not quite enough air underneath it, and the right spot for Amarion Smith. And all of his 5'6", 136-pound frame in use for a guy who plays both ways for Erwin. Footprints in the end zone, and coming out of there with plenty of wide open real estate in front of him is Milky Ray. Will this be the exclamation point on the night for both he and the Warriors? The latest of the long runs for the out-of-this-world back on the Warriors side of things.
I mean, he's going to have some unbelievably
71 yards later, Milky Ray is on the verge of a, well, he's got it, a 300-plus yard night as you look at where he was prior to that carry, the 4 touchdowns in which he has been involved. 300 on the button for Milky Ray. And again, the 3 rushing touchdowns, the receiving touchdown. He was the tone setter tonight, and it's fitting that he may have just put the finishing touches on it. As now deep in Brevard territory, the Warriors can utilize this clock. They keep it on the ground, and it's going to go under 2:40 and ticking downward to play. Well, one more snapshot of Milky Ray.
Well, and I tell you what, give Tristan Thompson-Wynn credit. I mean, number 7, he didn't give up. I mean, and Ray has run away from almost everybody. He had the angle there, but a good job by Wynn. Great job to get it up inside. And we have seen that, you know, kind of jam it in there a little bit, and once he's got past the line of scrimmage, he's gone.
First Bank Red Zone opportunity. We remind you tonight that all of these chances in the First Bank Red Zone give us a chance to remind you that First Bank has so many locations to serve you in our viewing area. First Bank with 21 in Western North Carolina, 16 and the upstate, that is 16 in Western North Carolina alone, of course, to serve you. Teddy, who's been in the thick of it tonight, called upon one more time. But Milky Ray, a 300-yard night for number 3. Matched his jersey number in rushing touchdowns, caught a 13-yard touchdown pass. Just a remarkable performance. When the game was in doubt and the tone was being set. 97 seconds left to go in this one. Milky Ray tries to bounce it outside. Host of Blue Devil jerseys there to gather him up. 4th down coming. There is a flag down. This is going to take it on down close to a minute here. But everything stopped to sort out the flag with 1:20 on the game clock.
I tell you, we were talking about Ray and 300 rush. Well, I mean, you throw Petty in there from a pass receiving standpoint, 80, 80, and 78. I mean, yeah. 80, 78, and 84. I mean, he's on the verge, if he's not over 300 in receiving tonight, and they're probably in the vicinity 700 plus yards in total offense.
I can see why you're troubled. There's so many numbers to keep up with what he's been able to do tonight.
The smoke's coming out of his ears over here next to us.
I said the large memory was there on the computer being taxed tonight for sure, with all the numbers that have been put together between these two teams. And those of you at home, you know, the numbers are what they are. It has been a monster night for this Erwin offense, for both these teams in the big play department, and certainly for Milky Ray as an individual. Second season in a row that on our air he has relished the moment. 4th down here, 18 yards needed, as the 6-yard line would be where the first down would be secured. That's of little consequence really right now, Tom, when you consider that Erwin has a couple of scores advantage and has worked this all the way down to the final minute. One more flag to walk off against the Warriors, but you begin to put it in perspective what Erwin has come on the road and done. A nice response for his squad after what happened a week ago when they were on the doorstep against Mountain Heritage.
I mean, and Brevard's a team that shut out Pisgah 35-0 at a 19-14 ball game with a good Knoxville Catholic team.
4th down. Toss will fall at the feet of Lawson Reynolds, incomplete, and Brevard will take over on downs. We talked about what the future looks like. You document the past there, but suffice it to say, in the present, what did Coach Pruitt tell us? We had their attention after last week, and we asked them to be just a bit more disciplined in this game. You can put a big check mark behind it.
Yeah, they beat Daniel Boone 56-0, and then Mountain Heritage 32-27, and felt like they had a really good chance to win that ball.
Ended up on the short end of that one, but you said it. There were moments they thought perhaps that one would go in the win column. This one looks destined to do so. Just under a minute remaining, with Benji Kessinger back into the game at quarterback on the Brevard side of things. Well, these teams posting 98 tonight between them. Will there be more? Big 2-4 across the 40 to the 45. Nyrell Skinner, who's put together a strong night for Brevard, moves the chains again with 50 ticks to go. Well, you'll see more of this Erwin Warriors squad next week on Friday Night Rivals, as we will be at Erwin. Be nice to explore the differences between the road journeys of this Friday and the home cooking for the Warriors next week, as they try and build upon what has been an impressive performance here at Brevard. Blue Devils to North Buncombe. But next week as well, and the final ticks are set to roll off the game clock on an out-of-this-world night for Milky Ray, on an impressive performance by so many of the playmakers. Petty heavily involved with all his speed. Cromer, Reynolds, names called time and again, and a workmanlike effort from Caden Engel. The quarterback, grown up by a year, leads his team to victory on this night. We'll be back to wrap it after the break. Well, Erwin saw Brevard pull up alongside at 35 apiece, but the Warriors never trailed in the football game, Tom, to the tune of a 56-42 win. One of the reasons they never trailed, the work of Milky Ray.
Yeah, second play of the game, you know, you go 53 yards for a touchdown, and then, well, next time, the second play, you're going to go another 50 plus.
Well, 54, 53 wasn't good enough. He goes 80 at one point. He rushes for 3, catches this 13-yard touchdown pass. Ray 300 yards on the night, and he ends up with the 4 total touchdowns in which he's involved. And he had the run that closed it all up in the end. Milky Ray was the headliner in this one for Erwin.
Yeah, that one's 80 right there. He's up over 300 yards rushing in this one. The 8 touchdowns that they had, 7 of them were less than a minute. Huge plays. Petty had at 80, 78, and 84, and then they throw another touchdown pass in there, 57 as well.
The stars shine bright on Friday nights when the lights are brightest, and Milky Ray certainly one of those stars in Western North Carolina. You know, not just Milky Ray, Caden Engel outstanding as well.
Yes.
All the playmakers,
Numbers
what
big.
you would expect him to be for Erwin. It's got to put a smile on the face of Rodney Pruitt, who is now standing by with Nelson for the Bojangles Trophy presentation.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, first thing is first, congratulations on an amazing win. When you and I talked at the half, you did say you wanted to see some improvement from your boys. I'm curious to know, what did you see in the second half from the boys, Coach?
I mean, just nonstop, just all gas and no brakes. Credit goes to them. They made plays. We got stops when we needed them and when they mattered. And I like the resiliency and just the fight and the effort they show, because we're going to fight you tooth and nail each and every night. And we executed down the stretch, and hey, they deserve all the credit.
You mentioned that word resiliency just now, Coach. Let's expand upon that, shall we? I want to hear all about the resiliency of that high-powered and energized offense that we saw from start to finish. What were your thoughts, Coach?
Well, coming out of the half, you know, we had bad field position because of the penalty, and we had to kick off. They had good field position. They took it in and scored, and then later on they tied the ball game up, and we could have folded, but no, they rallied together and stayed like a brotherhood and helped each other, and hey, they come out victorious.
We like their resolve, Coach. Well, you know I got to ask you a very important question. You walk away with the dub tonight, and that's outstanding, of course. Next week, though, is the big week. My 40, Friday Night Rivals, the TV crew, we're coming to see you. My question to you is very, very simple. If y'all picked up the dub tonight, what can we expect in next week's game when you're going to be televised, Coach, and your home stadium? What can we expect, Coach?
A good heart.
I like that. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations,
Quarter century in this game. You know what he's given to that location, to high school football in Western North Carolina. His smile says it all, as well as the reaction of teammates for the Erwin Warriors. 56-42 the final. And Tom, he said they're going to fight each week. That includes next Friday night when we see them at home. Hope to have you with us on Friday Night Rivals. Your final thoughts on this?
I tell you, they were impressive tonight, and right there, Milky Ray got it started early, and the key for them take the lead. They were balanced offensively, running and throwing the football, and they were very impressive here tonight to come away with a good win, and they got a chance to make a run this year. We'll see what it's like in conference play as well.
We'll see the next chapter at Erwin next week for our entire crew working hard for you here in Transylvania County and beyond. Thanks for joining us tonight. 56-42 the final, a dub for Erwin.